Yeah, that's right. So welcome to the show, Aryana. You go, Aryana. What's your full name that you go by?
So it's Aryana. I go by Aryana T. Lovick.
Okay, Aryana T. Lovick, the spiritual counselor, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so explain to us. Explain to us what exactly is a spiritual counselor, and who are the type of people, or what kind of people come to you mostly?
So a spiritual counselor is that who taps into people's energy. We're called often brujas. We're called often healers.
Hey, it's all right. I'm called hijo de la chingada sometimes.
Right? So we're often called healers. We're called brujas. We're called witches. We use a lot of our intuition. The type of people who tend to come to us are people often in certain situations where they're either going through heartache, through despair, through depression. They feel stuck, stagnant. Maybe they just lost their job. I get people from all walks of life. Honestly, they're looking for answers that they haven't figured out how to tap into on their own, that the church clearly is not giving them, that their prayers are not being answered. And they turn to someone like me to kind of guide them or give them what's showing up in their energy. Because I mean, everyone is psychic. I mean, at the end of the day, we're also called psychics, but everybody's psychic. So really that's what it ends up being.
I think I agree with you. I agree with you on that. I'm very much into the energy thing. I've read about it. I've watched some videos about it, and everything they say makes a lot of sense. And I mean, what you do, I think, is deal with people. I mean, this is my opinion. Deal with people who just have lost all sense of being, lost their sense of, they don't even know what to think anymore. And I think, I think for the most parts, most of us go through that sometimes where we get a little lost and stuff. But I agree with the whole energy thing. I mean, you don't need somebody to tell you that someone's a bad person. You can feel that shit, man. When somebody walks in a room, you feel their vibe. And I felt it. I felt it before. I think I've been the dark cloud. I'm not gonna lie. I've been the negative energy walking in the room. And I think to myself, like, you know what? I gotta clean that shit up. I can't. The way you carry yourself, people feel it. And sometimes it's clear, or it's kind of like our body, our mind remembers it from somebody else. And it kind of reminds me of that energy. And you're like, all right, yeah, I've been here before. I know that shit. I know what I'm feeling. I felt that before. And this person, that's why, you ever look at somebody, Fernando, and you're like you could look at somebody and say, I don't really like this person. Something about this person.
Yes.
And it's not even their fault. It's fucked up because it's not their fault. It's not even that. You don't even give that person a chance. But I'm telling you, like, I would say, I'm not going to lie, 9 times out of 10, your feeling is right, bro. 9 times out of 10. And go ahead, Fred.
I was gonna say there's some mutual friends of yours and I's, Cisco, where I will remain nameless, but they're like super cool with me, and we get along, but there's some negative energy that I can feel from them. You know what I mean? And something in my intuition tells me, cut this person off. And I'll cut them off. I block them from social media, and just cut them out of my life. And they wonder, sometimes they contact me and they're like, what's up, what's wrong? And I'm like, oh no, you know what, I'm just cleaning up my whatever. I don't tell them. The truth of the matter is that I get a negative vibe from them.
You don't trust them. Something about them you don't trust.
There's something about them. Yeah, there's something about them. I get a negative vibe from this person, and I just don't want that person in my life. You know what I mean? Or I just don't want that person bringing me down. And so I cut them off. And I don't know, am I wrong? So I don't know.
Yeah, something, Aryana, maybe you can answer. I mean, not maybe, you can answer. Like, how often do you think we're right in that situation?
Oh, that's that gut feeling. So a lot of us get that gut feeling. It comes from our intuition, right? So we get it in that right where our rib cage meets. is our solar plexus, right? So a lot of it get that gut feeling right there. That's our intuition. That's our intuition letting us know, oh, there's something off about that person. And it may not be that there's something off. What happens is we all vibrate at different levels.
Yeah.
That's what ends up happening. So when you've ever heard someone say, oh, tienen sangre pesada, or they have heavy blood, okay, that's what it's talking about vibration-wise, is this that certain people you're just not going to mesh with. However, there are certain people that just, we all have a shadow. Some people just live in that shadow. And when we're not vibing with their shadow, that's when we're just like, I just can't mesh with you. So yeah, 9 times out of 10, you got to learn to trust it. What's happening right now with everyone is because everybody was forced home, the majority of us, we were forced to look internal, and it's waking a lot of people up. But 9 times out of 10, yeah, your intuition is absolutely dead on, 100% right. And it's by grace that we were given that. And that's why I say everybody is psychic. From the moment that you're born, you are psychic.
Yeah, you know what? And going back to the vibration thing, I read exactly about that. And Fernando, I know this has happened to you, and Aryana, I'm sure it's happened to you tons of times. How many times? And I was reading this article, and I was like, "Holy shit, this happens to me a lot." Like I don't talk to you, Fernando, for like 6 months, and one day in my mind, I'm just like, "What the fuck's Fernando been up to?" And boom, you call me. And it's like, what the fuck? And like, what the fuck? Like, I haven't spoken to this dude. And then you call me, and I'm like, yo, dude, I was just thinking about you. Like, and that article was saying it's because we connect. Like, people you connect with, and you guys are on the same, like, frequency, since you're connected, they could be on the other side of the world thinking about you, and you feel it. And because you start thinking about them. So when you start, so one of you makes the call or whatnot, or you run into them at the store, dude. Like, holy shit, I haven't seen you like in 10 years. And then they're like, let's hang out. I'm like, no, there's a reason we haven't seen each other in 10 years, man. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I'm saying? Like things like that happen all the time. It's freaking crazy, man. So Aryana, like, tell us. I mean, I don't know. You know, I mean, obviously, you everything's private, and you. I mean, no names. Or have you ever had some crazy situation with some people just like an amazing story maybe that you can share?
Tons of amazing stories. Wow. Let me pinpoint. I mean, definitely, I can tell you some of these where I'll have. It's interesting. You just okay. So I'll share this one. Where couples will come, and I'll share this one. I was part of a team a while back, a dance team, and it was a couple, and they asked me, "Oh, are we gonna make it?" And I'm just looking at them at the dinner table like, don't ask me questions you don't want to know. You don't really want to know this. Like, don't put me on the spot like this. And it's happened with other people, like mutual friends, where, well, they'll ask me, these people just got engaged, or these people just got married, or they're pregnant or whatnot. And people ask sometimes I would say, none of their business questions. And a lot of the times I have to keep a very straight face, okay? And just kind of be like, you know what? It's probably not best that I share that information. But there has been very amazing connections, as you say. Two of my comadres, the moment I saw their name come up on my caller ID, I knew they were pregnant, and I knew the baby of the sex, or the sex of the baby. Okay, so there have been moments in my own life where I've been able to predict with some accuracy just those connections. As for things being very crazy or some really dark things happening, I can use a lot of my own experiences. Especially when I started getting into it, because I was raised very, very Catholic. Like, all of the stuff I do now, like you're going straight to hell. You speak to the dead. Esas
cosas son del diablo.
Yes, all of it. Now, but the changes that I have had in my life ever since I really started practicing and questioning everything that I was taught in the church, I can't even go back. Like there's.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I think everything's a state of mind, Aryana. I honestly, I think if you like, how can I say this? I don't like. I believe in a God. I don't believe in a devil. I don't believe there's devil. I think the devil you create in your own mind. I think you create your own hell in your own mind. Like you are your own worst enemy. Oh, dude, there's this guy, and I told you about him last time that I watch. I don't know if you ever watch him. His name is Sadhguru. Have you heard of him? He's the mystic guy, the Indian guy.
Yes.
Dude, when he said, I love that guy. I love watching that guy. It's interesting, man. Interesting dude. And I like the fact that they'll ask him a question and he'll just look and then boom, just drop bombs. I'm like, holy shit. Like, but he said, we were made to have one voice in our head. And he said, when you have more than one voice, there's a fucking problem going on. Because there should not be more than one voice in your head. Now you're fucking crazy. He goes, now you're crazy because you're allowing all these other voices to invade your head. It should only be your voice, and that's it. Only your voice. And when you deal with people, like we talked about this last time. I don't know if you were on the show, Fernando. That we talked. Like psycho women.
Oh yeah.
When they start creating all these fucking creating these what do you call them not results, but what do you call them, these conclusions?
Scenarios?
Like conclusions. They start creating these conclusions and you're like, what the hell, man?
Oh yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
That's when I go, who the fuck is in your head? Like right. You really need to straighten you out before this can happen between me and you, because it ain't happening. And it's not going to happen with nobody if in your mind all you're thinking is these negative thoughts. And and you know what? I told my son that. I told my son before he got married, because he was like, I don't know. I go, look, man. I go, don't get married because you want her to love you for you. You got to love you yourself. Because if you go into this marriage and just hoping that she loves you, you're going to attach yourself to her. And whatever she does, you're going to go for it and you're going to be miserable. Because you don't love yourself enough to just say, I'm going to do shit the right way. Or, or you're not going to disagree with her because you don't want to have a quarrel. You're going to, because you want everything to be, rosy. I go, I told him, look at your mom and me. Shit, there's a good example of what a relationship looks like. I don't have hair for her to grab, but we'd be at the hairs or something, here and there. But you know what I'm saying? I don't know. So have you ever been in a situation like that, Aryana? Like, do you believe in that the stuff that guy Sadhguru says? I mean, maybe.
Yeah, so definitely. So a lot of people are like, well, how do I know it's my intuition speaking, right? Because the voices we do have in our head, a lot of it is ego, and ego wants to be right. So ego, it's always going to fight you. It's always going to sound like, oh, I want to be right, and it's always going to make the other person wrong. But intuition is always going to come from a place of love. And then we have wishful thinking, and then we have, so we have different voices. We do have different voices, but yes, the one that we should be paying attention to is that voice of intuition. Yeah. Now, when I went through a massive, massive transformation, like I had a heartache that probably shifted me to the point, I mean, I changed my name. My legal name, my birth name is not what you see up. Yeah. So I had such a massive shift where I got so depressed to the point of suicide, where that voice, those other voices in your head that are just, you know, your value is worthless. You don't, what are you doing here? You help people, but you can't help yourself. Like, so you have all those other voices. But when you get to the point of, even with all this knowledge that I had, because I'm certified in NLP, I have all this psychology background and all this stuff, you get to a point where you're just like, hold on, let me question, what is this devil or what is this possession, according to the church that I had within me? What is it trying to teach me? What is this other voice trying to teach me, right? So I had to actually sit down and be like, let me see what is this outside of me, or what they teach you is outside of yourself is not, it's part of you. So I said, all right, vamos. What do you have to teach me? What is this? Yeah. And when I realized it was just a part of me that I hadn't integrated with that intuition, I was like, oh my gosh, this has been me the entire time. It's just that shadow self that a lot of us avoid. It's that shadow self of our of that you know that killer we all have inside of us.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's that unbalanced nature that we have inside. So a lot of what happens is we live in a world of duality. So it's the positive and the negative, the good and the bad, the good versus evil. But what's happening is, and a lot of us are governed by that. But what's happening right now is instead of looking at it that way, it's more like a scale, like where are you standing at? And it's about coming to this neutral place or completely taking yourself out of it and allowing that God that resides within us, because we are gods. And I know it's going to sound crazy, but when we can get to that one voice, which is that God that resides in us,
yeah,
no importa nada. The rest is like, and you know how to recognize it when something else is trying to attack that yourself or attack the you.
See, Fernando, see that situation you were in. I'm sure there was a voice in you saying, "Run, motherfucker!" Right?
Yes. It was like I described it. It wasn't just red flags. It was a red flag parade. There was just a lot of things going on.
It was a Santa Clarita fire, bro. That's what it was.
Exactly.
Pinches cerros encendidos, güey.
Bells and whistles and flags and
yes. And
you
so
know,
I listened to my intuition, and I got out of the situation before it got deeper, before it got into anything else that I couldn't, or later on would be more painful or be more difficult to get out of. So I'm glad I listened to myself.
I think Latinos, Mexicans, we're born with all this shame, dude. Like, I think a lot of times we're just ashamed of, like, we're ashamed to get divorced, or we're ashamed to have a baby out of wedlock and not be with like women, for instance, and I don't blame just the women. I'm just saying in general, they're ashamed to have the baby and not be with the dad. It's like, hey, if you gotta run away from this dude, run away from this dude. I mean, if you know this is going nowhere, don't stick it out because I get it. We want to work it out. We want it's but if you have that feeling, that gut feeling you're talking about, Aryana, and the dude and the woman either, and the woman's no good either, or the dude or the guy, whatever, goes both ways, then you got to get away from there. I mean, you got to handle your responsibilities, but you got to get out of there, man. Like, I think, like, going back, we're born with a lot of shame. Like, honestly, I think the Catholic Church teaches us to be ashamed, to not express ourselves, and so, like, it teaches you to judge. A lot of, Latinos, Mexican people, we judge a lot. So we judge so much that we recognize what people are going to say. That's how you know when somebody says, well, people are going to say this. Well, how do you know? Because that's what you would say. That's why that's why you know what people are going to say, because you would say that. But don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? That's why you don't say shit like that. That's why you my wife knows. I tell her, the fucking gossip, don't bring it over here, man. I don't want to hear about that shit. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, I don't want to know. I go, leave that shit somewhere else, because all that stuff, that's negative energy. And we're just carrying it over, man, and bringing it this way. I mean, like, if it's not something I want to learn from, if it's just, your friend got fake tits, I don't care to know. You know what I mean? That she did it for a reason. That's her life. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, women like to talk about some funny stuff. Like, I mean, I don't know if I'd be like, hey, man, Fernando got a penis enlargement. Like telling my friends. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, we agreed that was going to be a secret, goddammit.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's something as a dude that we'd go around talking about. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and usually it's envy. When you talk about people, it's just envy. It's like, when you say, oh, look at her, she thinks she's cool. Yeah, because you would think you were cool if you got the promotion, or if you got whatever the Tesla, whatever the hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, we recognize our flaws and we don't even realize it. And if we would pay attention to what we're saying, we'd realize that all we're doing is regurgitating what society around us has taught us. And that's the one thing that, like, going back, I didn't ever liked about the Catholic Church or any religion. I don't believe in organized religion. I just think it teaches you to judge others, and it divides people, man. It divides people more than brings people together, because now these sets of beliefs, you're trying to force them upon people, or not force them. Some religions try to force them, and some just, like, you know, try to divide people, like saying, like, well, he's not in our church, so you can't date him, or you know, or you're gonna go to hell. It's like, God damn, is it that serious? You know, I've told people before, Aryana, I've known religious people who are the worst people I've ever known, and I've known atheists who are the best, nicest people I've ever known. They don't even, because they don't even judge you. They don't, and I'm not saying I'm an atheist, because I do believe in a God. I believe in a higher being. You know, I do believe in it. You know, but I've known atheists who just, they no hay chisme. No, you know what I mean? There's none of they don't judge people for being the way they are. They just go about their life and they just don't believe in a God. That's it. You know what I'm saying? They don't go around trying to convince me you shouldn't believe in God. Like, I've never met an atheist who does that.
No.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's normally the Christians and the, you know, yeah. It's a trip, because any organized anything really is trying to push an agenda. At Absolutely. The end of the day, any organized anything, and I just had this conversation with a friend about BLM, and because they're trying to push an agenda.
Of course.
And I was telling this person, because what they posted was, you know, why are people trying to hold BLM accountable for the looters, yet they don't hold the NRA accountable for the school shooters? And I laughed and I said, well, when you have an organization that's funded by other people, it's easier to place the blame on an organization than on an individual, because as a gun owner, I go and I buy my gun and I decide who I'm going to shoot.
Yeah.
As a protester under a certain organization, I show up. And because I decided to loot, now they're going to place the blame on the organization. But if there was no organization, then they have nobody to blame other than the person that got caught for the looting. So that's the difference.
Yeah.
And again, we go back to that duality, why one or the other. But because that's one of the biggest rules that we're governed by right now, is that duality. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it? No, when you can pull yourself out of it and just look at everything from a very neutral standpoint, where everything has a purpose and has a why, I mean, you get to see things from a very different place. But going back to the language, when you really start to pay attention to what people are saying, and the words that they use to express themselves, especially when speaking about other people, learn a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Learn a lot.
How about the hey, man, you're pretty smart for a Latino guy. Where'd you grow up?
Oh, yes.
You know, like, me, señor. Oh, you know, I grew up in, like, what the fuck, man? You know, like, you're pretty articulate for, you know, where'd you grow up again? Like, motherfucker. Like, I remember a lady telling me, I said, well, I grew up in a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood. And she was like, that must have been rough. I'm like, what the fuck? I could have, you know what I mean? Like, just because they were Hispanic or Latino don't mean it was rough. It was, but you didn't know that. Like, you haven't been there. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just jumped to that conclusion. There's some nice Latino neighborhoods, you know, and there's some tough ones. I mean, shit, just like there's some fucked up white neighborhoods, you know. I mean, we don't see that much here in California as much as when you go to the Midwest. When you travel Midwest, I've been Midwest to go do shows and stuff like that. I've seen some pretty fucked up towns, and then now I go, oh shit, now I know what they mean by rednecks. Holy shit, like, we don't really see this in California, not as much, not on the level that you see it in the middle of this country. And then you understand all that. But out here, we don't see it. To us, you know, in California, it's like, when you think of somebody white, you think of, oh, they live over there in, you know, South Orange County, you know, Capistrano, San Juan Capistrano, and, you know, San Clemente, all the Spanish names, El Toro, Mission Viejo.
Yeah.
San Clemente. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so have you ever dealt with that, Fernando? Have you ever had people like kind of speak condescending to you and thinking that it's just gonna go over your head and you're not gonna recognize it?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I can think of one particular incident, where we had this, as you know, I've mentioned this several times before. I work at a hospital, and we had this representative come from a certain instrument company. We use different instruments for different types of surgeries, right? And so if we have, like, for example, a total knee replacement or a total hip replacement, different companies make different instruments. And now they're all going to do the same thing, but since they're concerned about, getting sued for copyright infringement or whatever, each company makes their instruments different. So they're similar, but different enough so that they won't get sued, right? So when
the patent, to change the patent.
Exactly. So when that happens, and we get new instruments for these cases, we have to get familiarized with them, obviously, because we don't know how these work now. And sometimes you got to put things together like a jigsaw puzzle, right? And so they send representatives, from that company to come check it out. So we get a representative one day, and I start asking questions, and she's pointing at things and she's telling me this, right? And I start asking questions about how certain things work, and she just all of a sudden said, your English is very good. And I was like, bitch, it should be. I'm as American as you. You know what I mean? What do you mean my English is very good? At the same time, and I've told this story before, I've been dumped. I was dumped by a girl who told me, you talk white. And I was like, whoa. I mean, that one, you know what? That was pretty messed up. Did I ever tell you that story, dude?
Yeah, you told me that story. You told us last time that she said you sounded white, and we're like, well, what the fuck the other guys sound like that she talks to? Jesus
Exactly.
Christ. Like you enunciate too well.
Exactly.
You enunciate too well, eh?
Yeah, so
Charlie.
I don't even know how, I didn't even know how to take that, and that's the sad thing, because she was Latina.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I guess she wanted me to sound, like you said, like a cholo or something. I don't know.
It's just pressure probably from the people around her to be with a certain type of individual. I mean, if she went out with you, did you ever go out with her?
Yeah, several times.
So if she went out with you, this is my opinion. If she went out with you to begin with, and then later on, it's either A, that was an excuse, Fernando. Remember, we were thinking about excuses the other day. We were talking about excuses. But then you said that her friend said, you do sound white. And you're like, what the?
Yes.
So she had been talking to her about you. That was so funny. So, I mean, that wasn't just an excuse. She did say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that was like one of those things where she would be ashamed to bring you around her people because of the way you talk.
Well, that's how she ended up dumping me. I don't know if I covered this the last time we talked about it. I forget. I'm sorry. I may repeat.
I forget too. Yeah, I mean, so do I.
Over and over again. So I apologize to anybody listening. And they're saying, "Oh, I heard this in the last episode" or whatever. But
fuck it.
Ultimately, what she told me was, we cannot take this relationship to the next level, because we were just seeing each other. We weren't, in a committed relationship. But she said, we cannot take this relationship to the next level because my friends will make fun of me. And I was like, what the fuck?
How old was she, dude?
Oh, she was younger than me, man. This was a few years back. You know what I mean? So,
but how old? Like, how old was she at the time? Because 35. I'm saying she was 35. 35. Dude.
35, yeah.
I was going to say, if she's older than, man, I'm even going to stretch it, 21. She's older than 21 and she's still worried about what her friends are going to think.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
She's 35.
That's that. I mean,
she saved your ass, bro.
Yeah,
she saved your ass because
I know.
Think about the headaches you would have. you were just seeing the tip of the iceberg with the fucking accent shit. To be honest with you, you were seeing the tip of the iceberg. What other nonsense was she fucking carrying around?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, and I got herpes too, eh? You know,
they
like,
did you a favor, and that's what that was my reaction to. I'm like, how old was she?
Yeah, 35.
That's
yeah.
Well, I mean, that goes back to stereotyping too. As a Latino, as a Black person, as you know, any kind of cultural background, they expect you to have a certain name or a certain. So what my mom ended up doing is she named us all American names, very American names. So I got the whole, oh, you don't look like your name. Well, now I picked on myself. Now the last name, whole different thing, but it's all with numerology. It has to do with numerology. How the way I have the name.
Okay.
But it has to do with you know, with the stereotyping. Oh, you don't look like your name.
Yeah.
You sound different from your name. Luckily, I've been able to have like this a lot of phone and oh, you don't sound like your name. Oh, okay. So now my name matches my face, but it goes back to the stereotyping and the oh, you should look a certain. Why? Because we've been conditioned to think a certain way through TV, through movies, through religion, through. I mean,
you're preaching to the choir. You're preaching to the choir over here.
Yeah.
No, like, what is a spiritual counselor? What is a psychic supposed to look like nowadays? What is a bruja supposed to look like nowadays? What am I supposed to look like? So a lot of people are like, oh, you're young. You know, how long have you been doing this? I'm like, wow, I've been doing this for 12 years. You know, what?
Hey, you don't sound like your name. Hey, man, are we going to have phone sex or not? Jesus Christ. Jeez, what the fuck's my name got to do with anything, all right? Okay, my name ain't Zach, motherfucker. It's Pancho. You know, like what's that got to do with anything? You know what I mean? Like, no, but that's prejudice. We prejudge. It's all, we all have it. It's like we were saying, the intuition, the thing, names, stupid, and it's stupid. I mean, it's stupid little things, but I think growing and evolving, recognizing these stupid little things that we've always done ourselves is a sign of growth and evolution and evolving from what our parents were. Because look, man, my mom came from a rancho in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? Like she's born in Mexico. My grandparents, my grandfather came over here, brought my uncles, my mom, my aunts. My mom went to school here, but she still carried those old rancho beliefs, like no camines descalzo, and later on you start thinking about that. It's not even about you being sick, bro. It's not even don't walk barefoot because you're sick. Don't walk barefoot. A lot of Mexicans say it, and I think that, and this is my opinion, going back, I think that the reason that tradition carried along, like don't walk barefoot, because that's a sign of poverty. Like in Mexico, kids who walk around barefoot are poor. They don't have enough money for shoes. And I think that they're ashamed for their kids to be seen running around with no shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's an opinion. And these are the kind of things I think about. I sit there, I'm like, you know what? Like, it'll just come to my brain. Like, I'll hear somebody say it, like, hey, ponte los zapatos. And I'm like, oh, this motherfucker's worried about people thinking that they're poor, man. You know what I'm saying? But, when you're a little kid, I was poor. I didn't fucking know we were poor. I thought it was just, I thought it was normal like everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, I thought, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't like lacking many things. Yeah, there was things I desired, but it's not like I was lacking like a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mom gave me what she could. And then my dad, they were divorced, but my dad was in the picture. I went and saw him, and he gave me stuff or whatever, bought me stuff, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But, when I think back, and I'm like, holy shit, we were fucking poor, bro. But as a kid, I didn't realize that. I thought it was just normal because everybody around me was like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but I'm saying our mind evolves. And I think when we start to think rationally and then create our own conclusions rather than just basing it on like, like customary conclusions, like what your mom or whatever who came from Mexico thinks, and and I feel bad. I think a lot of people, we stick to those things because we don't want to offend our parents. and we don't want to offend it, but you know they're wrong. It's like you work now in a hospital, Fernando. How many things that your mom taught you about, like, oh, you know, ponte vaporub and all that, and you're like, hey, Mom, come on, man, that shit don't work. You know, like, I mean, you don't say that shit, but I'm saying, no, es que no funciona. Okay, me lo voy a poner, okay, and you just fake put it on or whatever.
The one I hear a lot is my mom will still say to this day, you know, te va a dar aire.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to get air.
Te va a entrar aire. Te va a entrar aire.
Yeah, te va a entrar aire. And I explained to my mom, I go, Mom, you know what would actually happen to the human body if they got an air bubble inside them? They would die.
Instantly.
You know? And how are you going to get air? How is the air going to, you know, go in you? You know what I mean? I mean, look, through your digestive tract, sure, gas, okay, it comes out one way or the other. Yeah. That's different. But we're talking about like an air bubble.
So there you go. When you fart, say, ¿qué pasó? Me entró aire.
Me entró aire.
You know, like, ya lo saqué. ¡Pum! Estoy bien. You know, o se le va a caer la mollera al niño. You know, like,
oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Se le va a caer la mollera.
Like, I was wondering what the fuck, like, the soft spot, like, se le va a caer. Like, holy shit. You know, like, I mean, I remember hearing these things, dude. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you grow over, like, okay, that's just things that they grew up with. Look, it sounds bad when you say it's because my mom's ignorant. And I don't mean it in a mean way or a bad way. It's just ignorance. That's what it is. It's like not knowing, dude. And my mom works in the medical profession too. She's a phlebotomist. She retired. She was a phlebotomist. So I'm like, you should know better. But I didn't want to argue with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should stop. You shouldn't even be saying this. If a doctor heard you, they'd probably like discredit you or dismember you. Like, you know, like how did you pass the test, lady? You know, because I guess you have to take a test every year or some shit. Like, she had to take a test every year, so she'd be studying, my mom. So I'm like, how do you pass these tests if you still have these old beliefs you're carrying? You know, like have a 7-Up with lemon in it. Like, what the, you know, shit like that, man.
Right. Well, have you ever heard them say, like, if you're eating something and somebody looks like they want it to,
yes,
and they're like, "Ooh, se la va a caer la hiel," hiel. You don't give them any. And
or if your ice cream just falls, se te antojó. You know, like they say. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that could be witchcraft too, bro. You know what I mean? Fucking, I don't want some of your ice cream. I'm gonna make it fall so you can't have any either.
Well, that's the way. But Aryana, I mean, real quick, but that's a part of the thing. Like, even like when it comes to spiritual things, they carry a lot of these beliefs from the rancho. I remember, and I'll say this real quick, and like they used to tell me. So I would go to my mom's house and I would stay in the rancho by myself, and they'd be like, "Te quedas solo?" I'm fucking 26 years old, dude. What fucking, like, you know, like I need somebody to house sit for me, or like or be my sitter. What the, you know, like, ¿y no te da miedo? A las 12 salen las brujas a hacer sus brujerías. They would say that at midnight the witches came out to perform witchcraft, and this is a rancho. You're talking about 500 to, I don't know, man, 500 to 1,000. I'm just saying, I know it's a big, I don't know, because there's people I never met, but like, it's not huge. It's just houses, you know, like but yeah, they would say shit like that, and I'd be like laying in bed, and now every little noise I hear, I'm like, oh, what the fuck is that, man? And, you know, and I'm like the kind of person, like, I don't buy into. So what I would do, I was like, fuck this, and I would get out of bed, and I'd go open the door, and I would stand outside and just look to see if I saw any witches fly by or run by or whatever the fuck. And guess what I saw? Nothing, you know? So I'd be like, and I would stand there for an hour, bro. I'm like, I want to see this shit. I want to be scared. I want to be nothing. I'm like, fuck that. I'm wasting my time here. I could have been asleep, getting my little rest on, you know, like, go back in, close the door. And dude, I didn't see a soul. Like in a rancho, I don't know if you guys ever been to a rancho?
Oh, but yeah, absolutely.
Late at night, you don't see nobody walking the street. It's dead. All you hear is the donkeys, like, having sex somewhere, like, like having their own donkey show over there. But like, so Aryana, sorry I interrupted you.
No, it's good.
I just wanted to get that out.
No, I was gonna say, so a lot of the times the beliefs with the brujeria, so the Catholics especially, oh, yo no creo en esas cosas, or I don't believe in those things, so I don't think that can happen to me.
Yeah.
It was one of the biggest things that I used to believe in. And when I first started in this work, I was on the lighter side of things, the angels and the love and light and peace and blessings to everybody, bien hip, you know? And I realized that when people were coming, I'm like, oh, it's because those are belief systems. If you don't believe in it, it just don't exist. And I'm like, what the was I thinking?
Yeah.
Doing a disservice to all these people. It is not until I went to that dark side where I'm like, wait a minute, there's something to this. And it was a belief, because we are indoctrined to believe in the Catholic. Oh, it's because if you don't believe it, Jesus me cubre con su sangre and I'm protected. Well, what happens is, because of your ignorance, we have ways around it. And when you learn, and the reason, one of the biggest reasons that I had to learn, or why I dove so deep into witchcraft, was to learn how to undo it. Because there's so many people out there doing witchcraft. I mean, you can look at someone and curse them. And people don't understand that, yeah, the power of your mind is so great. Yes.
Mal de ojo, what do they call it? Or
sí, es el mal de ojo.
They said my brothers, I have twin brothers, and they said, and one of them, they told him, you know, twins have that power, and he'd be like, te voy a echar el ojo. He used to say that shit when he was there.
Okay, so let me question then, Aryana. So is mal de ojo, from what I'm understanding then, mal de ojo is real?
Absolutely.
So then, you know, there are some, like, again, we're talking about Mexican traditions and this sort of thing. When I was growing up, I remember hearing somebody tell me that they had their baby had like a little charm, like a little black rock. And they were saying that black rock, I can't tell you what it was.
El ojo de venado.
I don't know. But they were like, this protects them from mal de ojo. Does that work? Are there counter products?
So there are. You'll also see kids with the little red bracelet, like
pregnant women. They tie it around their belly.
And so there's a lot of different beliefs, and those beliefs do have a backing. There's certain things that do have the folklore or the stories as to why they exist, like all the ranchos. My mom is from her grandparents are from San Buenaventura, which is a tiny little rancho in Jalisco, and they have La Piedra de la Baraja. So that comes with the whole story and why you don't dance with the devil and why you don't dance certain dance. Like, there's a whole thing. But with the kids, yes, they're the purest form and the purest thing to God. So anyone who is trying to harm a child, they don't know what's coming back at them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yes, that's more for the parents' peace of mind than for the actual child. Because the child is the purest form of anything nearest and closest to God. The first 3 years of their lives, they're owned by God.
So let me ask you another question, and this is changing the subject, but it's along the subject line that we have been discussing. Earlier you said that we are all psychic, you know. So how does one tap into that if you don't already feel it? You know what I mean? I mean,
I was feeling you were gonna ask that.
You know, you're right, bro. You are amazing.
So it's like a muscle, just like, you know, when guys go to the gym or girls go to the gym and you're trying to get the abs or the muscles. It's something that you want to practice on a consistent.
Fernando and I know nothing about that, by the way.
No.
Right.
Well, there's Jim's Burgers.
Jim's Burgers is the shit.
Drinking water. Is the shit. So kind of like your hydration practice.
Okay.
When you want to get to a certain level of hydration, right? You got to keep drinking water. You got to keep doing it in order to tap in deeper into it. Now, a lot of people say, oh, meditation. You know, fuck meditation. I hate meditating. Like, and this is a very controversial subject, because there's going to be a lot of people who are like, how do you say you're a witch or you're intuitive and you don't meditate? I do meditate. But people don't understand that there's different forms of meditating. You can be in the shower meditating. You can be chanting. I dance. That's how I move my energy. I dance salsa and bachata. Like, that's one of my meditative states, to get into that. Some people run. Some people cycle. Some people literally watch dumb TV. what is the intention you're setting behind what you're doing, right? Because essentially what you're doing in meditation is you're going blank.
Yeah.
Right? So how do you develop your intuition, or how do you tap into that psychic ability? Is you really, it's an intention. What is the intention you're setting for the day? And then there's different tools. You can get into different modalities to expand on your intuition or expand on whatever psychic ability that you want to develop. Because there are people who, so I'll get a lot, oh, you're psychic? What am I thinking? And I'm like, well, that's telepathy. That is a form of being psychic, but everything has its name, you can say, and that's telepathy, right? And then you have the hands-on healing like Reiki, right? And that's a course that you can take, and then you can get attuned, right?
Yeah, the Reiki.
You have tarot, where, like I said before, I was very just angels. I dealt with only angels, and that's the only people I would talk to, or only entities I would talk to, were angels. And as I got deeper into it, so as you start it's like levels. You start unlocking certain levels. The more you practice, all of a sudden you're gonna get curious, and then you might grab, I don't know, a pendulum, you know, and then these are tools that you can use to start unlocking those levels of yourself. So it's a practice, and you gotta practice. That's how you start unlocking all of that.
I have another question.
Go ahead.
I have another question that is, you know, you just brought something up that made me think of something. One of my coworkers gave me what she said is a dream catcher, right? And that she brought from the Philippines. She's Filipina, and she brought it from the Philippines, and she said, hey, look, this is a dream catcher, and I thought about you because you're a dreamer, blah, 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 okay? And I thought it was a very nice gesture. I put it in my car, you know, hung it from my rearview mirror. But I kept looking at it. I'm thinking to myself, you know, this isn't really a dream catcher. It's a pentagram, you know? And everybody who gets into my car looks at it and says, why do you have a pentagram in your car, right? Huh? And it is. Basically, it's a pentagram. And so, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's like that, you know? So, I mean, but it's you know, it's, I don't want to say hollow. It doesn't have a base, you know, and it's a little circle.
So it's just,
with like with a little yarn star with like little pearls inside.
Little beads and
Yeah, exactly. Now, I personally, I can't say that I've had any bad luck or good luck, you know, since she gave me that thing. Everything's pretty much stagnant, you know. So I don't think it's affecting me in any way, and I still have it in the car, you know, but should I be concerned?
So it's like going back to the whole Catholic thing, where the belief system, right? Just because I don't believe in brujeria doesn't mean it's going to affect me, even though they're acknowledging that there is such a thing as brujeria. So here's your belief, here's the puzzle piece. There's no way it can enter the bad belief. So the pentagram being, oh, it's not affecting me in any way, so it's cool, it's just a gift. But the minute, oh, it's bringing me good luck, boom. Oh, it's bringing me bad luck, boom.
Yeah.
So what is it? Now, I know for a fact that people can give you things and set an intention for you. Now,
really?
Oh. So if you've ever gone into a botanica for any of my practicing witches, and you've gone or te han preparado a candle or something, and you given them your homework or whatever, this is what I wanted to do, and you give them pretty much what it is. This is my experience. I went and I said, oh, this one's good for business. I had just started getting into the darker stuff. I'm like, oh, this one looks like everything I need it to be. Cool, I'm gonna go ahead and buy it. Never, ever gonna trust anybody else with my own magic, ever.
Yeah.
It almost burned my house down.
Wow.
Yeah.
But did they know you?
They didn't know me.
But why would they do that?
Because there are some people who live in their shadow and want to just cause damage.
Oh, shit. Hey, so do you think somebody was trying to ruin their business and then it got passed on to you or something? Or?
Yeah, it was probably some kind of, so there's also las mandas, like, you know, when you go and you pledge yourself to a saint like they would in the Catholic Church, and then you see them, you know, doing the whole kneeling thing all the way to the front of the chapel or whatever. Son las mandas. So if, let's just say that they were working with a deity, con la muerte, or with Lilith, or with Ochun, or whoever deity that they were working with, and now they've made a vow or a promise, that now they said, all right, you got to sell this candle, or you got to do this bad thing to this person. So that may have been something that ended up happening. I just ended up on the bad side of it. So that's why I trust nobody with my magic anymore.
Well,
so you gotta make sure that whoever it is that you're gonna trust, you're trust somebody with integrity. And how do you know that? Well, you practice it with your intuition, and you go a lot off of, you know, referral. Like my business is solely off of referrals. Like I've never really placed an ad out there. Everything I do is off of referrals, and those referrals tell other people and other people and other people. But do I trust other people with my magic? Hell no, not anymore.
Say, don't trust anybody with your magic, Fernando.
No, I'm sorry, man. My magic is all the way out there. Everyone's got a hold of it. You know what I mean?
And again, going back, like if you ever think that dream catcher is bringing you some kind of something, get rid of it. Anything somebody's giving you where you just all of a sudden you keep thinking of this person, and you go back to the thing that they gave you, and you're connecting it. Trust that gut feeling and just get rid of it.
Right. Actually, you know, the person who gave it to me, she's like I said, one of my coworkers. She's a nurse, very sweet. We get along great. We're good friends. So I don't think that, you know, there's anything bad attached to it. You know what I mean? I think she gave it to me because she thought it was nice. You know what I mean? And like I said, I didn't think
this is protection. This isn't bad. A lot of people have skewed and misrepresented things throughout the years to represent something bad. Baphomet. I mean, if you guys look it up, it's the devil. It's the horns. Okay,
right.
It's el diablo, es el demonio. But if you guys really look into the history of the devil, he's a fallen angel.
Right.
He's an angel. At the end of the day, the devil is an angel. And when we get down into the history and we get down into the Bible or what we've been taught, they take out Lilith entirely, which was Adam's first wife. And then we can get even deeper into what if the God that they taught us actually is the devil?
Oh, there's a lot of people going to heaven. Is that like the wrong place to go, or what? You know, I'm.
What if there's not a heaven? Here's another mind fuck for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you have the Native Americans who didn't believe in heaven or hell.
Yeah.
They just believed that your spirit went back into the earth.
That's what I think.
Your spirit, you just went back into the earth, and that's where you were recycled. That is it. That is where you went back into the earth, okay? Here comes the Spaniards, here comes Christopher Columbus, they take over, and then they push their religion onto the Native Americans that then push their Jesus onto them, push their heaven and hell. So who's more guilty there?
Yeah. I mean, I've always said religion's always been used to control the masses. No matter where you go to, like you said earlier, you to push your agenda. And why are you trying to control them? Why do you put this fear into them? That's one of the reasons why I don't believe a lot of this stuff. Because I think that the people who have taught you this have used it to control you in one way or another. Like the church controls you. Oh, if you don't come, you're gonna go to hell. Oh, if you don't confess, you're going to go to hell. They make you feel like if you don't give, you know, you ain't going to get as much fortune as those that do. And I think, well, shit, man. Like, if a poor person, you know, what are they going to get? They're poor. You know, like I remember going to a Jehovah's Witness temple once, and everybody has to go in a suit and tie. Now, what if you can't afford a suit and tie? You know, oh, well, they let you borrow one. It's like, you know, there's just a lot of things. It's just a lot of things. Like I believe, like I said, I believe in energies. I believe in karma. I think karma, my belief in karma is this: what you do doesn't come. What goes around comes around, right? But what you do will fuck up somebody you love, because that hurts more. It hurts more when it attacks somebody you love rather than attacks you, bro. That's my honest opinion. I think that whatever maldad you do will come back, and it's gonna hurt you, but it's gonna hurt you by attacking somebody you love, like your child, a family member, a parent. And then, because what do you always say? Like, fuck, I'd rather it happen to me than happen to them. Well, yeah, that's not how karma works. You know what I'm saying? You fucked with somebody's life, or you fucked with it's gonna come back and fuck with you somewhere, one way or another. And it's I don't know why I think that way. That's just the conclusion I based it on. Like, I built up from things I've seen, man. And it's just like, yeah, man, like, you know what I mean? Like, I known some dudes that killed dudes, and then their son gets cancer. You know what I'm saying? Like, ooh, you know what I mean? And now they're crying, or the son dies of cancer, or gets some infectious, some not infectious, but a disease or something, you know, what you call it, a mortal disease, or what do you call it? What kind of disease?
Terminal.
Yeah, there you go. Terminal disease.
Terminal disease.
Yeah, terminal disease. There you go. I know that. I just get brain fart. So they get a terminal disease, and it's like, ooh, and you don't want to think that, and you don't want to say it because it sounds fucked up. But then you're like, Daddy did do a lot of bad shit, man. Like, ooh, like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's when, if you think about it, generational curses come through, because those are a real thing. Let me tell you, those are a real thing.
So you think somebody does that to them? Like, oh, you killed my uncle, boom, curse you, your son's gonna die? And do they think like it's better to hurt somebody they love because it hurts more?
So it's not necessarily in that way, because the law of cause and effect, that's essentially what you're referring to. Every cause has an effect, every effect has its cause, and there's an action and a reaction. And the way that you transmute that, because it is a transmutable law, which means that you can stop karma. You can cut that shit off. You don't have to go through it, okay? You don't. How? Why? How? Well, it takes practice. Okay, because you can be the causer in your life. You could be the one who manipulates your life and says, I'm not gonna go through this shit no more. I'm not gonna go through the 80,000 fucking divorces all the females have all down the line in the females in my family. Or all of the females in my family, I will speak from my experience, have diabetes. Yeah. And then I was 30, got diabetes. I'm like, what the, how? So I said, you know what, hasta aquí, I'm gonna reverse this. I shed a bunch of weight, went back, and they're like, all right, you're no longer diabetic. I said, fuck yeah, because this stops here.
Yeah, because they say it's hereditary. They say it's hereditary. It's not hereditary. You eat what you
change your DNA.
If you eat what your parents say, yeah, you're gonna get diabetes just like they got it. You know what I'm saying? It just has to do with diet.
Well, that's type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is the one that can be reversed. Okay. Type 1 diabetes is genetic. That one,
really?
Yeah, it's an autoimmune disorder. That one, you know, you have no say about that.
Oh,
you know what
shit.
I mean? That's not curable.
That's from birth.
Not reversible. Yeah, that's from birth.
Oh,
you know?
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's also a generational curse. Because if you and how you break those down is pretty much you take your mom's side of the family, your dad's side of the family, and then you look at all the brothers and sisters, and then you go up another line. You look at grandma and grandpa and all their brothers and sisters. And if you have your cousins, I mean, you look and then you go down the line. So essentially you go up 3 and then down 1 if you can. But then you start paying attention to everything. You go even from names. So in our Hispanic culture, we have this habit, and I say it's a bad fucking habit, of naming our children after grandma and grandpa, or el tío y la tía, And then what the fuck happens is they end up leading the same damn life.
Oh, shit.
They end up having the same careers. They end up having the same ailments. They end up having the same, like they repeat the same thing. Because it's all vibrational. If you think about what a name is, it's vibration. So they're going to end up, a lot of the times, that's why I, me, mini, me. Why would you do that to your child? And I'm not judging anybody, but these are some of the things that I have found out through just learning about my own family history.
Yeah, my dad and I and my son have the same first name. We all have different middle names. So, I mean, I don't know if that makes a difference, but shit, you know.
Well, it's all first names, so yeah, it would.
But I haven't lived the same life as my dad. My dad died of alcoholism, and I'm not an alcoholic.
Not yet.
No, I'm not, dude. I was. But you know, like she said, I decided to reverse that shit. I'm like, I'm not going down that line. I'm not gonna get so.
Now pay attention, because it'll go. So you know how
to my son.
7 lines down. So pay attention to your son, and then if your son has the firstborn son, pay attention to his son. So once it goes down the 4 lines, then we're clear, okay? Because it started with your dad, skipped you, so it still can go down. So you got to pay attention to those things too, especially because you all, at least the first 3 have the same first name, okay? So those are those things. So there's so many different aspects of spiritualism and going into different, there's just so many roads that you can take in what spiritualism is. But generational curses, ooh, that's a whole, I mean, because you'll find people that like to dress in all white all the time. Like all white all the time. And it's just like, why? Well, if you think about it, those are a lot of the angels on earth, no? But a lot of the times they'll sleep like dead people. Like ask a lot of those people that if you know that they like to dress in white all the time, ask them how they sleep. A lot of the time they will sleep like a dead person. Like
holy
this,
shit.
like this.
That's probably how Michael Jackson. That's probably how Michael Jackson slept. He's trying to be all white.
Or they astral travel. When they sleep like this, again, they like to astral travel. So there's astral travel. Like there's so many different aspects of spiritualism and figuring out like where along the lines you can fit in, or what you're into. Pero el mal de ojo is a thing. Like everything that you can think of exists. Absolutely, 100%.
Don't tell me that, man. Come on, man. It took me years to forget about that stuff. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Don't take anything personal.
You want to know some crazy things that have happened in a ghost, okay?
You saw a ghost?
Ghost. A mí se me apareció mi grandma after she passed away. Like some amazing things have happened in my life in what all of this is. But my grandma stood out at my doorway because when I first started, and I didn't know what was going on with me, just things started to shift in my life and I started seeing things and out of the corner of my eye. And a lot of people get scared because one of the easiest colors to see when you first start developing like your third eye is black. So you start to see shadows out of the sides, the peripheral visions of your eye. And people are like, oh my God, it's a shadow.
That's probably what the police have. That's probably what the police have. That's right.
So they think automatically it's bad or automatically it's that, and
yeah.
But it's not. It's just the easiest color to detect is that black.
You just got it?
No, I had it. I was just like acknowledging the joke.
I don't know how people are gonna take that. They're gonna be like, "Oh, he's racist." I'm like, I didn't mean that in a bad way. I meant it like fucking police. That's probably what they have. Like, oh, it's black, it's bad. Like with all this shit going on.
It's funny.
It's terrible.
I had to laugh because that's just my humor.
I have a dark humor too, man.
It comes with part.
No pun intended.
It comes with part of this. So a lot of that happens. So with my grandma, when things started happening, so they started like touching me and like there is such a thing as spirit sex. Like there's a lot of like different avenues of people. Like it's crazy. Like
I need to find that shit. Where do you find the spirit sex shit?
So there's a lot of.
You're gonna be laying there in bed going, oh, ¿qué traes?
There's sex magic. There's sex magic, and I will be the first to admit that a lot of what I have and a lot of the abundance that I've attracted has been through orgasm. Because it's the easiest way to get in alignment with who you are and your true self, because all your chakras have to be aligned in order for you to have an orgasm. And that's when you release the thought of what you desire, knowing it's already been done, and boom, you get it. Like, so that's sex magic. So there's that part of it. Like, there's so many different avenues. So I had set up like luckily I was able to like find a center here.
Hold on, can you repeat that real quick?
Sex magic,
I'm
right?
just kidding.
Chakras, release,
taking notes over here. I'm gonna have stickies on my computer all over it, man. Stickies everywhere.
I'm gonna restart my courses again. I'll let you know. So
tantrum, is that what is that? Tantra? What do they call it? Tantric. There you go.
Yeah.
I was like, tantrum. Is that what little kids do?
Tantrum is like
Yeah, stop trying to tantrum. I'm trying to have an orgasm, damn it. No, tantric, isn't that where they just run their hands over your body? Like they don't even touch you? Or is
it
that
can be a part, but tantric is also breathing a lot with your partner, following the breath and different positions.
Yeah, that's too weird, man. Yeah,
and everybody has their thing. Like I said,
like 3, 2, 1, ready? Like what? Like I couldn't do shit like that. Like just
you gotta kind of find your niche, right? You gotta kind of find what you and your partner are into. Because,
yeah, that's true.
You know, everybody has their cup of tea, right?
Yeah.
So I was able to find a center where I was able to take like a psychic intuition, like a 101, and they taught me boundaries. Because one of the biggest things that people don't understand is that when we're on this plane, this earth, on esta tierra, this is our plane. We run this bitch, not them. They're stuck on this plane for whatever reason, and we can send them back to the void.
Who's that, the spirits? The spirits, you mean?
Spirits.
Okay.
So I don't send anybody back to the light because that's a bunch of bullshit. I send them back to the void because that's where we came from. We came from a void. We didn't come from no light, okay? But that's a whole nother subject.
Do you believe that the wandering spirits or the wandering souls maybe are I mean, because I believe what you said. I think we're just balls of energy, and this body is temporary, and once this body just fails, the spirit moves on. I believe in that stuff, man. I believe that you can be born something else, or you can be something else. But that shit scares me. It's like, you know, when I like to watch a lot of National Geographic, I'm like, man, I hope I'm not born one of these fucking deer getting ripped apart by 8 wolves. You know, like I think about shit like that. Like, that's a fucked up way to die, man. Like you just see 8 hungry ass wolves, and you got you got a sore ankle that day. You know what I mean? Like, you can't even.
You know what? And the funny thing, Cisco, is that you mentioned that because I've thought the same thing, but I thought it differently. You know, because I watch a lot of like Shark Week and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But sometimes they show other predator fish where, you know, like a certain shark that doesn't swim, but will bury themselves in the sand at the bottom of the ocean floor and wait for another fish to come by. And then before that fish knows it, they just get swallowed. I mean, and it's like split second. And I always thought, how fucked up would it be to be that fish that just got swallowed? Because if you get attacked by 8 wolves, at least you know what's going on.
Yeah, right? Dude, but they're fucking they're ripping you apart, dude. You're alive.
I understand that.
And they're just shredding you.
It must suck. But could you imagine?
And even the little baby one's getting in on it. Like, you know, his teeth ain't even developed, so he's just gnawing on your ass. Like,
yeah, there's got to be fucking... You know, I get it, but if you're a fish and you're just swimming along and all of a sudden get swallowed, think about it. Think about that. You know, all of a sudden you're like, fuck, this is dark. And, you know, all of a sudden you can't go anywhere else. That's because you're in a stomach.
What about when they show all those little sea turtles being born, and they say only 10% make it to the water?
Oh, that's right.
And the fucking birds are just coming down and vámonos, cabrón, just swallowing them up and like, dude, you were just born. You just fucking hatched. Motherfucker ate you already. Like, you didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't even get to smell the ocean. Your life was fucking 8 feet of sand. That was your life. 8 feet of sand. You crawled. That bird just came down, swooped up, and I don't know, man. Like,
it fulfilled its purpose.
I hope it's not like that. Shit.
It fulfilled its purpose.
Food for somebody, like foods, the circle of life.
Yeah. It fulfilled its purpose.
Damn, man. So do you believe that? Do you believe the wandering spirits and then they just got to be born again or formed into something or sucked into something? I don't know. I don't know how that works.
So so again, it goes back to the belief systems. What people who have had near-death experiences will experience a lot of that purgatory if they were born or raised Catholic. They'll go into that limbo and not know where the hell they're at. My grandma experienced not being able to see anything while she was still in hospice. And everybody's looking at me like, see why she hasn't left? Like, why isn't she going? Like, habla con ella. And nobody had a candle on for her. Light a candle, 12 minutes later, passes away. So she had the whole que me prendan una vela type of belief system, able to see wherever she needed to go. She shows up at my doorstep. Again, I was able to figure out that this is our plane. So they technically can't harm you unless you give them permission. What gives them permission? Your belief system. I didn't know that this was our plane. I didn't know they couldn't touch me. I didn't know that they couldn't wake me up out of my sleep or, you know, and when you start getting into all this psychic and being of the light or whatever.
Oh, it's frozen.
Yeah, frozen.
What's going on?
Fernando's like, I thought it was me again. I was like, holy shit.
No. Aryana froze for a second.
Yeah, you just froze for a second. Okay. It's all good.
So
you guys put the candle on and grandma just slipped away?
Yeah. So once all of that happens, she shows up and I'm like, all right, well, they need to show me a sign that they want to talk to me, because all of a sudden I was getting woken up at night, being touched, and just, it was really uncomfortable when I started developing all these mediumship skills. And I was like, you know what? They're not allowed in my room. Not allowed. So in my room is a sacred space. They're not allowed unless I open myself up or I'm in, you know, whatever. They know the rules. So my grandma is sitting outside, right outside my doorway. And she's like, you're going to talk at my velorio. And I was like, fine, saying shit about you. Her and I never had the best relationship. And I'm like, no. She's like, yeah, you're going to deliver the message. And I'm like, no, I ain't saying shit. You and I didn't, you know, we didn't mesh. When I came around, you would get up and leave. You were obviously jealous of the relationship my mom and I had, blah, 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 whatever. And she's like, you're getting up and you're saying this. And I'm like, well, llega el día del velorio. And it's interesting because the entire family, like, she spent her last year and a half with our family, even though we were the black sheep of the family. She spent it with us. So we got to live the best, like, we gave her the best life she could have had at the end. We got to laugh with her, be with her, all of this stuff. So out of my 4 other brothers and sisters, 4 of us spoke. Well, after my brother went up, I just felt something on the back of my back just lift me up. And I was like, what's going on? So I'm like, I guess I'm talking. She literally picked me up by the back of my back, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm speaking. So once I was up there, then I delivered the message that she had for all of her brothers and sisters. Wow. But I had to put my 2 cents in there and talk about how she was not your baking your cookies and milk type of grandma. I had to throw my 2 cents in there. But so there's different types of being psychic. There's the mediumship. There's the telepathy. There's the pushers, you know, what's that? I think it's called Push, the movie Push, where you had your different types of kids that had the different abilities, where some of them would push actual thoughts into your mind, you know? So there's that too. And I am certified in hypnosis, so I could do covert hypnosis on people in the street and get them to do my doing if I so chose. But again, you gotta be careful with who you're going to. And I mean, not everybody is susceptible to hypnosis on that level. But again, it all goes hand in hand. Who are you going to see? What kind of ethics do they have? Because there are people out there, like I said, that like to live in that shadow, and that's where they operate from.
Wow. Are you living in that shadow, Fernando?
No, I try not to live in that shadow. You know, I try to live in the light, man.
I live in the shadows when it's hot. I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to be in the light right now. It's hot. Like these last couple of days, It's been hot as hell, dude.
Dude, you know what I was thinking? Oh, Aryana lives in Las Vegas. So
Oh shit.
when you say it's hot as hell, it's only been 97 here. Over there it's
Yeah.
139.
Go figure. Ariana's in Sin City, doing her business. So that's where the business is at. That's where motherfuckers want to know. Should I play 21 ever again?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't want to lose my house, man. Come on, Ariana, help me out.
Yeah. No, it's amazing out here. I mean, we live in a vortex. That's why they call it the ninth island. From Hawaii to here, because Hawaii is also in a vortex. So there's so many different aspects of spiritualism. Then you have numerology.
Yeah.
So if you've ever
What do you think about that? What do you think about the number thing? Because I read about I started looking into Tesla, and Tesla was very much into 369, the triangles. 369. And the triangles and all that. And motherfucker, he got that in my head, and now it's like I'm always thinking 369, and then my birthday is 12/21. And that's a freaking, 3 goes into 12 and 21. And I'm like, fuck. So it's, and then I added up all the numbers in my year, and it was like 3. It was a factor of 3. And I'm like, holy shit, man. What does this mean? And I'm trying to find out, what can it help me with? I can't find shit to help me. I'm like, running football plays, because I coach football as well. Running football plays and shit. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just, it just got ingrained in my brain, and I'm always thinking 369. Multiples of 3. Always. I don't know why. I used to do the TV. I used to have that thing, that fucking obsessive compulsive shit, where I had to have it on an even number, and now I have it on threes. I don't know why, and it just got into me. The whole Tesla was a smart motherfucker, so I don't know. Maybe that's why I want to be smart too.
You are smart.
But you know what I mean? So what do you think? So tell us about that.
There's a lot behind it. I mean, I can tell you. So that's one of the biggest reasons that I actually changed my birth name to the legal name that I have now, had to do exactly with numerology. So every letter in the alphabet has a number significance. Once you add it up, it gives you a number. So your birthday is your astrology, right? So you add all of the numbers. So my birthday is August 5th. So I added the 8, the 5, the 1 plus the 9 plus the 8 plus the 2 gives me a 6. So my birth path, my life path number is a 6, which is a teacher, which is me teaching what I do. And it's also a healer. So part of the spiritual practice. So in order for me to vibrate or resonate at my highest potential, my name had to equal a 6. So I hired a company to actually do all the math for me and send out a list of, what names would best resonate with me. And I actually had, me and Fernando had this conversation. What does my name mean? What does the T stand for? Why did I pick Lovick, instead of going with the more Hispanic or even an Italian name to make it more Spanish sounding, right?
Portuguese.
Exotic.
Or whatnot, right? And they sent all of these names, and I'll say I love it, I love it a lot. But Lovick was probably the closest sounding thing to love, and I'm all about, the love.
Yeah.
So so that's what that was. And in a lot of, once I decided to change my name and actually chose it, my entire life changed. Everything just started working out the way it needed to. Everything. I am talking about from me being let go of my job or fired. I mean, I was let go. I was laid off. I was an underwriter, a mortgage underwriter for 10 years. And I made very good money, worked from home. It was cool. It was a dream job a lot of people wish they had, but this is my passion, helping people on this level. And once I decided to go ahead and make the switch, because I was kind of like in a little bit of a panic mode after that happened, I said, you know what, F it, I'm gonna just change my name, see what happens. And the minute I decided to switch my name, I just started getting a bunch of clients, and my money shifted and my life shifted, and just opportunities here, opportunities there. So is there something behind the numbers? Absolutely 100%. Because any programmer will tell you, just like the Matrix, we're made up of zeros and ones. We're made up out of a numeric.
Yeah, those are those are computer programming, zeros and ones. Zero means off, one means on. So that's what
binary.
Binary. There you go. On, off, on, off, and that's how computers run and shit. Yeah. Like so do you have to add up all the letters in all your name? Like if you have a middle name and everything?
So yeah.
God damn, that's gonna take forever. Shit.
Well, no, I mean that's why I hired that company. I'm like, that's why I hired the company. Like, here you go, you could do this, and you can submit just your first name. I think I sent Fernando his, and it's really interesting because you could just submit your first name, and they tell you you have issues here, 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 and here, and you're looking at it like, how the hell? Like,
so maybe I gotta change my comedy name. I just go by Cisco. How much is that?
Yeah, if you even just your comedy name, I don't know. They have different price ranges and stuff like that.
I'm probably screwed. I probably screwed myself by just going by my name. Like Cisco. Oh, yeah, you're doomed, fucker.
No, I'll send you the website. It's pretty neat. But
Cisco Networks is famous. Well, but Networks maybe adds to the Cisco. You know what I mean? Because they're not just Cisco.
Because Cisco is already a very known
brand.
Yeah.
Networking and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm saying. Like, go ahead, Fernando.
I thought you meant Crisco.
Crisco. Should I change my name to Crisco? So
change it to Crisco.
Manteca, cabrón, or what?
See what happens. No, but Aryana's right. You know, she and I discussed the numerology thing. Regarding my name, and we added up all the numbers. Well, she gave me, she's the one who did it, and she's like, boom, this is what you got. And I got a 9. And she sent me a website where I could look it up and read on what my number means. And it was very interesting that a lot of things were spot on. A lot of the things that said you would be a good entertainer. And also, you would be good in like caring for people, like the healthcare field. And I'm like, well, damn, that's what I do.
Damn.
What I mean? So I was like, wow, that's amazing. So yeah, it was very interesting, and you should do it, Cisco, just to read up about what your name means. Now I know you go by Cisco, but is it Francisco?
Francisco, yeah. Well, when I started in comedy, I went by Francisco. And then I did this like comedy, what do you call it? Like challenge? What do you call them? Where they have and there was another competition. There you go. And there was another comedian going by Francisco, but he was Chinese from San Francisco. It was just weird. So there was 2 Franciscos in the competition, but the other dude was Chinese. That was a fucking weird situation. And then another comedian said, oh, you should change your name, dude. Francisco is just like really formal. Francisco. He goes like Cisco, like that's the homie Cisco, whatever. And then that's why I changed all my my social media. It's homie Cisco. It's just like I was like, yeah, you're right, dude. No, I don't call my friends like, I mean, even to you, I'll say, hey, Fernie, or whatever, because we want to shorten everything. We don't want to be like, hey, Fernando Javier Gutierrez. That's your mom does that. Your friends shouldn't be calling you by your full name. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
That's something that I've actually had to stray away from.
Shortening names?
So the short name. So a lot of people who knew me by my birth name, it was 3 letters. So for a really long time, it was 3 letters on my. So now I have this beautiful name that I picked myself, and everybody wants to shorten it to Ari, and I'm like, don't call me Ari. I paid a lot of money to have my legal name changed. Call me Aryana. So I have to get them out of the habit of calling me by a shorter name because it cuts the vibration in my name. So I know why I chose Aryana. And that's why I'm like, don't call me Ari. Like, and I call people out, like, ya no me da pena. Like, it used to be like, oh, this is kind of weird. Like, I'm already telling them I changed my birth name. People who've known me all my life, and now I'm telling them not to call me Ari. Like, yep, sorry, don't call me that. So it's interesting, but once you start paying attention to those numbers and how they reflect in your life, like I started gambling on them too. I started putting 6. I just recently, my birthday. My birthday is 8/5. but my life path number is a 6. So what do I play on craps now? 6. Boom. Usually the first or the second number that's gonna hit, boom, 6.
Really? And it works? God damn! I really gotta find this shit out. I got
Hell
20.
yeah,
I got 21 tattooed on my arm because I was born on the 21st. I fucked up. I probably jinxed myself when I was 19. I doomed myself by tattooing 21. I'm gonna find out that's not your number, dude.
Well, it's gonna be a 3. At the end of it, it's gonna be a 3. I mean, because you add it, because it's gonna be.
Yeah.
It's unless it's a master.
Well, I'm 45 years old, so right now I'm a 9, baby. That's right. Now, 369. No,
Yeah.
but if you add up all my 12 is 3, 21 is 3, that's 6, and then 1, 7, and then a 9, that's 16. 7 is 23, and 4 is 27. And if you add those 27, it's a 9.
Yep.
Right.
So your life path is a 9. So just like Fernando.
Yeah.
Hey, but that's my birth date though. That's not my name. So I don't know what my name is.
So that one would be your life path number, and then your name would be something else. So that one.
What's a life path number? What's the difference?
From your name?
Yeah, like
because your name is gonna vibrate at a different frequency.
Yeah, I'm a Sagittarius. Does that mean anything or what?
Yeah,
I'm the horse's ass.
Astrology is a whole different.
See, I don't believe in that stuff, man. Astrology either. I don't know.
Okay,
man.
so here's where I'm gonna go ahead and maybe
school me.
Not school you, but maybe convince you otherwise.
Okay, let's go.
So if you were given a map to your life,
yeah.
Okay, a map to say, hey, you have these classrooms and these teachers, and you got 12 of them, and here's all the houses, right, or all these classrooms that you have to go to. You have 12 classrooms, and this is the university of your life, okay?
I'm hearing.
And the day that you were born, at the time that you were born, placed you in different classrooms at different times with different teachers, okay? If you were to know the cheat codes, or if you were to know what was going to happen in each one of those classrooms, wouldn't you want to know to be able to guide yourself through it faster?
I've never been a cheater. I've never been a cheater, but no, I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, yeah, of course. I mean, who wouldn't, right?
So astrology, that's what astrology is. Astrology is just a way of giving yourself the map to your life and figuring out an easier way or shortcuts or a way to get to the outcome or a way to get to the lesson faster without having to go through all of the suffering.
So I have a question regarding astrology. Yeah. You know, and I learned this by going to a Chinese restaurant. You know, they have the Chinese.
They have Chinese astrology. They have
the Chinese zodiac, the Chinese astrology, and then I don't know, the westernized Western astrology. I don't know where it comes from, but in the regular astrology, I guess I don't want to offend any Chinese people. Not saying that they're irregular, but the Western astrology, I'm a Leo, right? Yeah. So Aryana, you're a Leo too, right?
Yes.
Yes, and so. You know, I read up on a lot of things, you know, about Leos, blah, blah, blah. In the Chinese zodiac, I'm a rat. Okay.
I'm a tiger, baby.
That's cool, right? But from what I understand, you know, so how does that work? Because when I read the description of what a rat is in Chinese astrology, a lot of the things, again, we're spot on. Now, it may be a generalization. You know what I mean? If they say, oh, well, you do this, you do that, and then you just kind of fit it to what they say, you know, fit, you know, your life pattern into what they say. You're like, yeah, that's right. I am frugal. Or, you know, I do take risks. Everybody takes risks. You know what I mean? But the thing is that with Chinese astrology, it's everyone born in that year. Every single person born in that year is a rat. You know what I mean? And whereas the astrology that we're familiar with here in the States, you know, more so, it breaks it down by months, right? So, and then they say everyone in that, you know, different months is different. They have different aspects to their life and different characteristics, different personalities, and blah, 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 right? So how does that work where in Chinese astrology, everyone is the same in that one whole year, but
everybody born in December is a Sagittarius. I mean, so it'd be the same thing almost.
See, but what I'm talking about, exactly. But what I'm talking about is that everybody, for example, everyone born in September of the same year that I was born in is a rat, according to Chinese astrology. You know what I mean? So according to Chinese astrology, we share the same characteristics. But a Leo and a Sagittarius born in the same year are supposed to be different. So how does that work? Again, maybe it comes down to what you believe. Here's the puzzle piece, and here's your belief system, right? And
when it comes to astrology, yeah, it can be that. However, even when you go deeper into astrology, you're going to find that you're not just your sun sign. You're also your rising and your moon sign. And each one of those is going to have a different part of you. So let's just say, do you know where your Venus is? Your Venus is how you love people or how you like to be loved, and if your Venus is in Cancer, you're going to be very needy and very affectionate and very emotional. You're going to be all of those things.
I'm your Venus.
Scorpio.
I'm your
If you're a Scorpio, you're going to be kind of like an asshole, and you're not going to really.
Are you? I was told Sagittarius were assholes. I'm a Sagittarius. Well,
wait, are Scorpios assholes?
What are we talking about in Venus? In the way they like to be.
Oh, right.
Hey, so you're a rat, quick-witted, resourceful, versatile, and kind.
Right. So as for going back to your question, and you gotta also understand that their year runs different from ours.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
You gotta remember that.
Yeah, it's a bunch of lines.
Right. So their year also runs different from our calendar year. So their astrology is going to differ in that manner, where ours kind of stays pretty consistent. And then depending on where you're at on the equator and where you're born is also going to matter in our astrology versus theirs, where their Chinese astrology, I think their New Year's is like in February.
Yeah.
When honestly, if you really go back deep into the books, it makes no sense for our new year to still start in the winter when new life doesn't start until the spring.
Yeah.
Right.
That never made sense to me either. I don't understand. Somebody could have just said, hey, January 1st is when March 21st is, because that's the first day of spring.
Right.
January. They could have done that. Nobody was gonna be like, oh man, you're fucking throwing my whole year off.
And here's another mindfuck, just going back to the whole devil thing. Now, why would Jesus be a Capricorn?
I don't know, man. Shoot, the goat.
Oh, right. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. It took me a second because I'm a little stupid.
Damn. Yeah. When you said that, God,
I'm just gonna keep, and I'm gonna keep raising questions like that because we have been indoctrined to believe this whole.
I'm the first day of winter, by the way. My birthday's my huh? I'm a cold person. Is that what it means?
You're the 21st. I said.
Yeah. I'm a cold ass person.
That means you're a Capricorn too, bro.
The solstice.
Yeah, I'm the last day of Sagittarius. First day of Capricorn. Capricorn's the 22nd. Mm-hmm. I was born like at 6:30 in the morning or some shit like that. 6:30.
So you're a devil and a horse's ass.
Yeah, there you go. The horse's ass.
So,
hey, that reminds me of Home Alone. I'm right here, you big horse's ass. Hey, I'm a tiger. It says brave, confident, competitive. I'm none of that shit. No, competitive I might be. Brave and confident. So you're a dog. Aryana, you're a dog. You said 82?
Yeah.
Let me see. What does it say about the dog? It said something lovely, honest, and prudent. Oh, man.
Oh.
Now, the prudence se me ha quitado con los años.
Now imagine if I would have been a dog. Lovely, honest, and prudent. That'd be a totally different person and shit. Like, oh, fuck that.
I'll tell you, lo prudent se me ha quitado con los años, for sure. For sure. But the honest, I mean, that's always been there, and I want to say that's why people keep coming back to me.
So
I'm not gonna tell you what you want to hear. I'm gonna tell you what shows up.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. People don't want to hear the truth. You know, like nowadays, that's my problem. My problem is I try to control it because society doesn't accept me. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you're toxic. I'm not toxic. I'm just telling you the truth, bro. I'm not gonna fucking lie. And so I gotta go bullshit, and then and when I'm bullshitting, it just eats at me that I gotta fucking lie. I gotta put on this facade, like I gotta pretend to be something I'm not. And
remember when we first started out, you're that negative person, or la sangre pesada that we first talked about. You're that toxic person. It's because your vibration just doesn't match, because you're being authentic to someone who likes to bullshit.
Yeah, but I'm not toxic. I just like to be honest.
We're realists.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you want to be real, and when you are real, your circle becomes really fucking small.
Oh yeah, absolutely. My circle is fucking tiny as shit. You know what I'm saying? Like Fernando, I think I look at Fernando, and Fernando's like a happy-go-lucky guy. Like Fernando he doesn't want to, he doesn't want any problems. Fuck it. I know this, I know that, pero me vale madre. And me, no, it's like, hey, dude, nah, that's bullshit. Like if somebody's trying to run a scam on me, I'm going to call them out on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not skeptical. Like, I'm not skeptical. I give everything a chance. I'm not a skeptic. I give everything.
Give astrology a chance.
I'll give astrology. Hey, I added up all my names because I got 3 names and they're long as fuck. The numbers ended up to 90, so it's a 9 also, just like my birthday. So I'm a double 9, baby. I don't know if that's good. I don't know. So maybe I gotta go to the horse races and put it all on 9. Right. Put it all on 9 and end up homeless because number 9 fucking broke his leg in the 9th. Breaks his leg right out the gate. God,
no, but 9 is also in numerology. 9 is a completion number.
Is it?
Complete, yeah. It's when you're at the end of your path.
Yeah.
So a 9 is to complete. So, and because 0 starts the number, and then before you get to a 10, because 10 ends up being 0.
Have you seen how Tesla would do his star, and how the numbers added up? Like he did the I think from 1 around like a clock, almost like 1 to 12 or something. I can't remember. No, it wasn't 1 to 12. It was 0 to 9, 0 to 9, and then he draws that star, like the pentagram, like the star, dude, with the triangles, and the reason why it's a pentagram, the reason why the lines connect, is because every number that adds up when you add is either 3, 6, or a 9. A 3, 6, or 9.
When you take the human body, have you ever seen? I'm sure everybody's seen it. We saw it in our science books. You take the human body and you spread it out like a star.
Yes,
it's the human body.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is. So that's why this symbol has been so demonized.
Yeah.
And it's your own body. And the 666 has also been demonized. It's not the mark of the beast. It's the mark of you as a god. Like it's what we're made of, the molecular structure of who we are.
When I was in my 20s, I got pulled over by the police because I had a T-shirt that said 666 motherfucker in the back. and I had a motorcycle, right?
Why would you have some shit like that? 666.
Because I went to a concert, a White Zombie concert.
666 motherfucker. I don't know if you're
familiar with White Zombie, the rock band.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan.
Yeah.
And so I went to this, White Zombie concert, and I saw this T-shirt, and I thought, wouldn't that be cool if I would wear that while riding a bike? And yeah, man, I would get a whole bunch of stares, but I'm wearing a helmet and sunglasses, so they don't know who I am. You know what I mean? But I got pulled over. Because of the T-shirt, and the cop asked me, where did you get that T-shirt? What happened?
No, I'm showing you. Go ahead, keep
Oh,
going.
nice. Yes.
Oh,
see, look at you see what it says at the bottom? Energy always moves and cannot be destroyed.
right,
So
right,
and
right.
this is the number thing, the circle with the triangle. So you start at 1, and then the number, and then and see. What's that guy? Harvey Weinstein has these lines. He has them. That's his W.
Oh,
And
that's right.
yes, this WC in the middle, this Harvey
Yeah.
Weinstein, that's his freaking company's logo. So if you go from 1 to 2, that's 3, right? So 1 to 2 to 3, and then it goes 2 to 4, that's 6. So then it's 4 to it double. Oh, you double. The number doubles each time. And then 4 to 8, 4 to 8, and then 8 to 7. I can't remember. Oh, 8 to 7 because 15, 1 plus 5 is 6. And then 7 to 5. Dude, it's just crazy shit, man. When I was watching these videos and reading about this stuff, it was just like she was starting brain fucking me. Like I was just like, holy shit, all these numbers. Tesla was onto something, bro. When he was thinking about in 100 or 1900, early 1900, late 1800s, and he was talking about using the Earth's free energy to power up to power up things. He's talking about, and he was talking about communication. He was talking about cell phones. He didn't call it a cell phone, but he was talking about cell phones and communication. You're talking about 100 years before the shit was invented. They just stole all the things he built, all the things he wrote. They stole it. Edison didn't want him coming out with this because Edison was charging a shitload of money for electricity using DC current, direct current.
Right. Edison was a capitalist. That's what it was.
And Tesla was talking about alternating current and how he could give everybody energy in the world and how we could communicate. Dude, that's some crazy shit. I'd like to know. I would like Nikola Tesla. I'd have to look up his numerology, right? But yeah, dude. But dude. So I looked at the circle and then I saw the triangle and it just a lot of things, man. I was like, holy shit. And I saw this little logo in the middle. I'm like, fucking Harvey Weinstein has this logo for his company, and he's the one that likes to drug women and sexually harass them. Or what did he do? No, he didn't drug them. What did he do? He raped them, right?
No,
he
was accused of rape. The whole casting couch thing. You know what I mean? Where he would
yes, that's what it
basically ask them for sexual favors or demand that they
for a movie to be in a movie and all.
In movies, right?
Wow, man, that's fucking terrible, man. God.
All these conspiracy theories aren't conspiracy anymore. There's a lot coming out, and there's more coming out. But yeah, a lot of the occult, and I mean that's what it ends up being. Like all the Freemasons and all that. Like it's all been skewed to think, oh, it's del diablo, and yeah, there are satanic rituals and things like that. But again, going back to the 666, it's our molecular structure. It's not necessarily that kind of the beast. And when you go back and think of why would God ever have put us in this beautiful paradise and then put temptation in the middle of the freaking place? Like that doesn't make any sense. So when you start questioning things like that and really looking at everything that they've demonized throughout history, and you start making up your own conclusions and realize, they've enslaved us for far longer than we've realized.
Yeah, they don't want us to reach our full potential. That's what it is. Like they don't want us they just want us to be their puppets, to be slaves, basically, because that's what we are, bro. I mean, we have been. You know, I mean, like when people go out, like when the new iPhone comes out and people are in that line, that's slavery, bro. And people got to pay for that shit for money. Like there ain't people who just go buy it outright. They pay for it monthly or whatever. You got that debt, credit cards when we were in college, and I didn't even have a job, and they're fucking giving me credit cards. You know what I'm saying? That was the start of slavery. Keep me in debt so that I couldn't progress. Move forward.
Think about what's happening right now with this whole coronavirus, and when you get into the chakra system, right? So the corona it's an attack on the crown chakra, which is your direct connect to God. But when you start to realize that you are God and that God isn't outside of you, it's inside of you, and you are that direct connect, you are that direct tap to that internal source and that one voice that we talked about earlier. you realize, oh, I'm supposed to be turning inward. I'm not supposed to be plugged into a 9 to 5. I'm not supposed to be enslaved by someone else telling me what to think, how to feel, where to go, when to be there. And that's why so many people are like, oh my gosh, what do I do with all this time that I have? Oh, my kids are important. Oh, let me do this with my kids. And people started waking up. So we're living in a time right now where so many people are now having this direct access, whether they believe in God or not. They're starting to believe in themselves and starting to realize, holy shit, I can't depend on a source outside of myself to feed me, to bathe me, to clothe me, and to keep a roof over my head. So that's why so many e-commerce and so many new businesses are popping up now. It's the time. Now is the time. We're in a year 4, which is the 2020. And now here's the other thing about numerology, going back to it. 2020, it's the year of clear seeing. What do they say when you have the perfect vision? Is 2020. All of the people who have ever been shitheads throughout their lives, the mask is coming off. Everybody's being exposed. If you've ever been a shitty person, you're being exposed.
Damn.
Straight up.
Yeah, you're right, dude.
Hollywood, we know as we know it, is being exposed for what it is.
Hell yeah.
Epstein, all this bullshit happening.
Comedians being accused of, statutory rape and shit like that, man.
Absolutely, and even pedophilia, man.
Pedophilia.
And I don't want to say who, but when I read about this particular dude and hitting up 15-year-old girls when the dude's in his 30s. You know what I mean? I'm like, come on, man. And this is somebody I respect.
What are you back in the rancho over here and shit? Me la voy a robar. Like, what the fuck? That's the shit they did in ranchos, bro. That's fucked up, man. That's what a quinceañera was for, to present your daughter to the men. And shit. Yeah. But that's an old thing, and that was because of money, because people, the parents couldn't afford fucking a mouth to feed. It's like, shit, let me pawn you off to somebody who maybe can help us in return. I mean, like, things like that. I don't know. But we don't do that shit here. But yeah, dude, when I read about that dude, I was like, holy shit. I wasn't shocked. Nothing shocks me anymore. I've said this many times. I'm not shocked by anything. Anything can happen at any time. It can happen at any time. I mean, when you see some of the atrocities we've seen in the world, they've always happened. It's just now we have the internet. We have technology that exposes these people. People think the world's getting worse. The world ain't getting worse. We're just exposing, like she said, 2020. We're exposing people. We're exposing the shit that's happened forever. Look at that guy. Remember that guy who had like 6, 7 girls fucking hidden in his basement in Cleveland? Remember? It turned out to be
the most normal person.
Yes, Puerto Rican guy. Turned out to be a Puerto Rican guy. Fuck, I had to be a Latino. I was like, God damn. When they said Cleveland, I was like, yeah, that's a white dude. Then he said Puerto Rican. I was like, God, I'm not Puerto Rican, but he's still Latino and shit. Like, it gives us all a bad name. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, fuck. Why couldn't he be like from, Singapore or some shit? Why gotta be like something, some other place? But goddamn, it was something else I wanted to ask you, and it just slipped my mind. Fernando was talking about the atrocities over here.
I mean, once you get down to it, this year at the end of it, so once you drop the zeros, it equals a 4. So 4 is about stability. And in astrology, your house 4 is your relationships and your family life. So what is everybody doing at home? It's your family.
Yeah.
So this year makes absolute freaking sense in astrology in the house that we're in. So everything, when you get and break it down, makes perfect freaking sense. Now, as for everybody being exposed and all of that, the year of 2020, and everybody is exposing themselves. I mean, I had friends that I really thought were intelligent, and for as much as I tell them, please decode. This president that we have, he speaks in code. Decode him. Go into the etymology. Like, I'm trying to actively kind of teach people, but not trying to twist their arm, because also our language has been manipulated to mean other things, and our language has been created, the English language has been created to cast spells. That's why it's called spelling.
Yeah.
Okay?
Wow.
So one of the biggest things, and I know me and Fernando are always grand rising, because I don't say good morning to people, because when you're in mourning, when somebody dies, te vistes de negro, you're in black, and you're in mourning because you go to a wake. Every morning you wake up. So when somebody dies, you attend their wake and you dress in mourning. You're in mourning going to their wake. So instead of waking up to go to a good morning, you rise. So I say grand rising to people instead of have a good morning, as in you're already dead. Why? To go to an undertaking, when an undertaker takes you when you die, to earn, which is where they would place your ashes once you're dead, to make a earning or a living, right? You're not living when you're earning and putting what? To pay a mortgage, which when you break that down, it means till the death. Our entire English language is based on spells.
Damn.
That is why television is tell
Freaky
lies
shit.
to my vision.
Damn.
So they manipulated everything to mean other things. So when you actually take words and break it down and actually look at what they were originally meant for, you're like, holy shit, when did this get twisted? So when people say, oh, fight for what you want. I mean, do you understand what the word fight means? It means to get violent, to throw hands. Why do you want to fight for something you want?
Damn.
So when I tell people,
we gotta have you on. We gotta have you on here more often, man. This is
right.
This is the shit we need. Fuck, I'm serious, man. This is. I mean, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. It's just
you're
like,
fine.
you know. I want to go back because I remember what I want to say. This is a while back because you were talking about seeing through the bullshit and being in the middle, and that's something that's something that I've developed, or the last couple of years is, I used to be. I'm a Democrat and fuck the Republicans and all that. And then somewhere along the line, I just realized that they're all the same. They're all the same. They're just giving you bullshit from different angles.
Absolutely.
I think the Democrats do the same thing Republicans do. They just disguise it as doing it for the people. And, you know what I mean? Like the Republicans are like me. They're honest. They're gonna screw you, but I mean, like me, I'm not the screwing part, but like they're honest. Where like they tell you they're gonna screw. They basically tell you, I'm gonna screw you over, and ain't shit you could do about it. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna get screwed, and you're like, oh fuck that, not me. That's the dumb people. Whereas the Democrats be like, disguise their fucking screwing and say we're gonna do this and that for the people and all that. Because hey, dude, I've been reading a lot of shit about how Joe Biden. He's the one that wrote the bill to lock more brown and black people up. I didn't know it. He wrote he wrote the bill. And then during Obama's presidency is when they started putting all the kids in cages. Not during Trump's fucking presidency, it was during Obama's. I'm like, what the fuck? So you know what I mean? So there's a lot of people out there confused, man. I mean, it's just they're both evil. Like who? But one of them's gonna win. I mean, that's the thing. One of them's gonna fucking win. So who do you go with? The person who's honest to you and tells you to the face, hey, Fernando, I'm gonna fuck you over, dude. Or the guy's like, hey, Fernando, and puts his arm around you. It's like, hey, man, we're gonna change things. Okay, because this fucking guy, all he wants to do is fuck you, man. That's all he wants to do. And in his mind, he's like, hey, I'm gonna fuck you too, bro. It's just,
Well, here's I'm gonna provoke your mind a little bit.
Yeah.
So Obama's slogan was what was it? Change, right?
Change,
damn
it.
And Trump says, make America great again. Okay. Now, Obama had the 8 years to do it, yet nothing was really done to say, oh, he caused such major impact. What really ended up happening there was, here's your black president. Boom. Okay. I'm not even going to go into the whole becoming Michelle thing. We're not going to touch that, at least not today. Okay. What I will say is those who provoke thought in a reaction are the ones that actually cause change. That is why I get the results from my clients to cause changes in their lives and transformations, because change is really taking the same fucking pattern and just going like this. It's taking the same shit and shuffling it around.
Mm-hmm.
To cause transformation means that you just took a fucking caterpillar and made it grow wings.
Damn.
Okay? Those who provoke your fucking mind and get a reaction out of you and call you out on your fucking bullshit and expose things those are the ones who are going to cause the transformation of what is needed. Trump did us a fucking favor by exposing those people who were already racist.
Yeah.
They were already your neighbor. They just walked around fucking here's your mask.
Well, even the left liberals, man. Even the left, really left. I mean, I remember Trenton telling me to watch. Hey, you see this video? The lady. Did you ever see that video that came out? Both of you, of that lady in New York City. I think it was a Central Park, and she had a dog, and she started.
Oh yes.
Cussing the guy out. She was she was a liberal, bro. She was a left liberal, and you know, they're the kind of people, they see a black person, they clutch their purse. They talk all this good shit like Black Lives Matter and this and that. But then if they're in the, oh my God, you know, like,
the reaction.
Yeah, the reaction.
Conditioned.
But yeah,
conditioned.
Hey, when I went to England, I think I told you this, Fernando. When I went to England, when I want to go do comedy over there, I remember them saying, "Oh, I thought you're Mexican. I thought all of you were gangbangers, because that's what I see in the movies." You know, I'm like, motherfucker, I ain't no gangbanger and shit. Now don't fuck with me because I got a little bit of hood in me, bro. No,
where's your tear tattoo?
Yeah. No, but television, bro. Television, like she said, television has taught people that blonde and blue eyes is beautiful, dark is ugly, and Mexicans are short and overweight. I mean, for the most part we are, but not all of us.
Okay, but wait a minute. Now I feel attacked, bro, because I am short and overweight.
But that's not 100% of us, right?
What the fuck there?
So am I. But I'm saying, but it's like, 100%, but that's, when you watch a movie or any show, the brown person is always short and overweight. They never have, except for Saved by the Bell. But then they changed his name to A.C. Slater, bro. It wasn't even fucking he wasn't Mario Lopez. He was A.C. Slater. Mm-hmm. And because better looking, nice body. We can't be Hispanic. We can't let this one be brown, even though he was the black guy in the show. He was the minority in the show. Him and Lisa Turtle. They were the minorities in the show. Just little things like that. And the way I discovered this, and I've mentioned this before, was going to auditions and reading the breakdowns. And I would read, and it always said Caucasian, 6 feet to 6'2", well-built, nice physique. African-American, 5'10" to 6 feet, well-built, Hispanic, 5'5" to 5'8", doesn't matter, like regular or average or some shit like they would say, for not to say overweight or whatever. And I'm like, so they want the blonde hair guy to look better than everybody else, bigger, stronger. I'm here to save the day. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right.
What I will say now, though, is there is a shift in power happening. There's definitely a shift in power now. Now, our president only became racist the minute he became a president, because prior to that, he had all kinds of black friends and other.
Nah, but he was racist because he was part of the people that accused the Central Park 5, those fucking kids that were wrongfully accused in the 80s for raping that girl. And he said, you should lock them up. And he said it back then. And those kids turned out to be, have you seen this special on Netflix about the Central Park? No, oh my God, that was dude, it makes you want to go into the screen and beat the shit out of these cops. These cops needed to put the blame on somebody, and they put it on 5 innocent kids, man. Wow. And these innocent kids did jail time. One of them got raped in jail and all that. And then 15 or 20 years later, they were found, and they found the real guy, because the real guy was in jail. He's committing crime all the time. And he said, oh, they didn't do it. He told somebody in jail, I did it.
Yeah, he confessed. Yeah.
He confessed. Wow. So 20 years in prison, man. I'm like, but Donald Trump never came out and fucking apologized for saying that those 5 kids, he said they are guilty and they should be locked up. He said that.
No, he actually took out a full-page ad in the New York Times, and he demanded they get executed.
Yes.
He wanted those 5 people to be executed.
So he's racist, man. His wife's immigrant, I guess, but she's not dark. You know what I mean? She's European.
Well, except for all of his wives except for one. right? Well, he's only been married 3 times.
Yeah,
but,
the other one's Russian, right?
I don't know, something like that. Ivana or
yeah, wasn't she Russian or some shit like something like that? Ivana Trump.
Yeah, they've all been
like Eastern European.
Eastern European, yes.
That's interesting, bro. There's something that I mean, look, man,
well, going back to
I don't know him personally.
You are aware that he also changed his name, correct?
No, I didn't know. His name is not Donald Trump. No, what's his real name? Like Larry Fitzgerald?
No, so his last name, and this is why they were calling him Trump, because again, it carries vibration, and they didn't want to be associated with that part of the atrocity that the family was responsible for. Okay. So again, it carries vibration and it carries stories. Your names carry stories. So when they immigrated or they migrated over here, they changed the name.
Oh yeah, a lot of people did that. Yeah.
So they do that a lot to
Jews did that.
Ties to
Jews did that because
exactly.
they were discriminated against. So like Gold, anybody whose last name is Gold, they were probably Goldstein or Goldberg.
Yeah.
Went to Gold.
So they did a lot of that. So when you come to voting and all that, it's again, why are you voting? Have you looked into what vote the word is? What you're doing when you vote?
No, what are you doing when you vote?
You're vowing. You're making a promise.
Really? You're making a promise?
Yeah.
You're making a promise. I don't see the correlation there. Vote and I'm making a promise. Like
a vote is like a vow.
So you're casting a vote, right? So when you go into the etymology of what vote is, you're vowing. Okay, you're saying, I'm going to vow for you. I'm going to vouch for you. I'm going to say, I'm selecting you, right? Because I think you're whatever candidate, whatever. But when when you come down to what it actually means is you're casting a vow, okay? You're vowing to that person. You're kind of making a promise to them. Now, if you've ever looked at what govern means or government, it's to be under, okay?
Well, we're definitely under shit.
Okay.
Because they're giving it to us.
If we're the people, and it's for the people, then we're first. And then the government works for us. But somehow people forget that that's the order. And somehow people have been indoctrined to think it's this way.
Yeah.
They're above us and we're below them. Now, if you're supposed to be sovereign and you're supposed to be a god, why the fuck are you vowing to some other person to govern your life?
Damn. I'm not going to vote now. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm glad I got that across without actually saying it.
Aryana told me, I'm like, fuck that. I'm not voting, man. Fuck that puto.
So what happens is when you start to get into this whole spiritual and the occult thing, you start to dive down different avenues and start to look into different spiritual teachers and books and boy have my mind has been blown so many different times that I'm just like, I got to get this out here and out there and who's going to listen I got to a point in my life where I was just like, I just don't give a fuck anymore. You're going to think I'm crazy. You're going to think I'm crazy. You're going to side with me. Cool. But my intention is to just educate and put it out there. And when people come to see me, I'm not gonna sugarcoat shit. I'm just gonna tell you how it is. And these are the changes that you need to make in your life. And your fucking mindset sucks. And these are the changes you need to make. And you need to do the work.
You also know a lot of you said at the beginning that you're NLP certified, so you're pretty good at the neuro-linguistic programming there, man. Yes. So I've always wanted to learn that because like I said, I coach high school football, and a lot of the battle is here. It's not just the weight room; it's here. And like I told Fernando, I said, man, like I was telling the other day, reason I got into coaching in the area that I grew up in is because this is where we're losing the battle as brown people, as Latinos. We're losing it up. We lose here, man. We grew up like, the area, HP, Southgate, Bell Gardens, all the Southeast Los Angeles area. Most of the kids are defeated before they even have a fucking chance because of this. And I thought, man, maybe through NLP, I could fucking, find a way to find those words that trigger something or motivate them so that it changes their mindset. So that they fucking say, because they give up. They just say, oh, I'm just going to smoke weed and chill. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you smoke weed, but fuck, go do something with your life. Snoop Dogg smokes weed, but he ain't at fucking home just chilling.
Nope.
He ain't just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's fucking out there making records, producing music, doing tours. Dude, you see Snoop in he's in a Corona commercial now, bro.
I mean, what's that one kid with all the rainbow fucking tattoos on his face?
6ix9ine guy?
Yeah. He was in jail and made all that fucking money.
He snitched.
And people are sitting
They said he got
talking.
out because he snitched. They said he got out because he snitched. That's why.
Oh, that's fine. But are you going to hate on him? Because look what he did.
He was in Santa Monica throwing hundreds in the streets
I saw that video. I saw that video.
Was it Santa Monica? It looked like Santa Monica.
I think it was LA. I don't know.
It was LA. He was in LA.
Look what happened tonight. Come on. And all the people went crazy.
He does that in New York too. That's why a lot of people like him. He's like half Puerto Rican, half Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot where his mom's. But he's from New York. He's from New York.
A lot of those kids or cats, like even Chris Brown drops code. So everything is now in your face. Everything is now in your face. Now you got.
So you believe all that when basketball players do this and throw up the sixes and all that? You believe that?
It's all code.
That don't mean 3-pointer. That don't mean 3-pointer. That means 6. Like 6. Like LeBron does it.
A lot of them. So
Jay-Z and all them and fucking.
So.
Now we're getting some Illuminati shit and all that.
So that's all real. It's all real. It's all there, but it's not what we think it is.
Yeah, it's exaggerated, right?
It's very exaggerated to keep a cover on what's really happening. But I can tell you this much is that it's up to us to decode all of it. It's up to us to see, because a lot of it they're hiding in plain sight. Again, and if you go back to this cover of Obama's wife putting out a book that says Becoming Michelle, and I'm like, what? Why would you need to become someone?
Yeah.
If you ain't someone.
Damn.
So
see, you're like Plato or Aristotle, questioning every goddamn thing. Like, Plato was killed for that. You know that, right? Like, remember that?
It wouldn't be the first lifetime I would be. So.
Another thing you said is interesting, because I read Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche was an atheist philosopher from Germany. And he said he was atheist. He said, I don't believe in God because I think that we should become godlike ourselves. That was his thing. We should be God. We should not look up to something else. We should be what we think a God is. That was his approach. So that blew my mind back then when I was in college, man. I was like, holy shit. You know what I mean? That's when that's when my beliefs started to change, believe it or not, little by little. Education expands your mind. That's why education is so important, because if we don't educate, then we just live the life like, our abuelitas taught us, no corras sin zapatos, tómate, una cuchara de miel para la tos. I mean, we had the doctor the day, she did say that works, so I ain't gonna shit on that.
Well, I mean, there's always the natural remedies, and
yeah. I love natural shit. I love everything natural, man.
I mean, if you think about it, a lot of if you ask anybody who hasn't gotten corona, what's their vibrational state like, and are they plant-based? A lot of vegetarian people have not contracted it.
I'm not vegetarian. I haven't contracted it.
And it's probably you've probably also stayed away or have been in a vibrational state where you know where you're at. Now, I contracted it twice.
No shit.
I knew what the fuck I was getting into.
Why, really?
So I got it before it was even out, back in January. Okay. I got it back in January before it was even a thing. Before you
were messing around with a chino, huh?
No, I was at a Congress where there was a lot of people. And then I got it again because of the vibrational state where I was at, and I was drinking and I was smoking weed. And I know what, and I'm not saying alcohol is bad, but for me that I'm so sensitive to
it opens you up.
Well, I mean, think about it. It's spirits. Alcohol is spirits.
Yeah, they call it spirits. Yep.
And I was intentionally lowering my vibration, intentionally, okay? So again, it's all about your intentions. I was intentionally in a lower state of mind because of whatever I was going through. I knew what I attracted. I knew what I was fucking with, and boom, I got it again. Okay? Now, was it as bad as it was the first time? No, because I was over and done with it within 2 weeks. But in those 2 weeks and in my fever delirium, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to use this to my advantage, because when you start working and walking with purpose, you get answers to what you're requesting.
Bam.
Okay? So when you start working and walking with purpose, you get answers to what you're requesting. So I wanted answers. And you can use that energy of a fever, of whatever sickness that you're going through to get whatever, being sick on bed. All right, what the fuck am I supposed to learn? Give it to me. And they gave it to me, and I was like, oh my God, all right. Now I understand why I chose not to have kids in this life. Now I understand why I've chosen to be single all this time. Now I understand why my parents are the way they are, why my dad stuck around, why if ya no se quieren, why they stay together. You know, I understood all these questions that I had, and I'm like, oh, now I know what kind of clientele I'm going to start to attract now. Mm-hmm. So, or why my opportunities are going to get even bigger now. So, again, when you start to walk with purpose and work with purpose, you're going to get your answers. And that spirit coming through, so I don't know which one of y'all need to hear, or somebody out in the crowd's that's going to make a lot of sense to somebody.
No, it makes sense. Makes total sense, man. I mean, shit, I don't fuck with spirits. I fuck with Jack Daniel, Gentleman's Jack. I stopped drinking for a long time. I felt like it's true. It's true that like you said, this, man, that whole thing, spirits. I never even thought about that, but
well, yeah, you put your guard down and you allow.
I've read that before. You're susceptible. You're susceptible.
I have an actual video. So me, I'm only 5 foot. Like, I'm not very tall. I'm only 5 foot and I'm pretty petite. And I went to a concert and I was pounding drinks and having a good time, and it's a noche de bandas and all these things, and all of a sudden this girl she wanted to fight me, and I'm like, do you even know who you're fucking with? Like, you don't know.
Just looked at her.
Well, I just started pulling in energy. I have a video on
that was creepy, bro. That was creepy. You did one eye.
Why did you do that?
Do it again. That was so funny. Dude, you're gonna see this on the video. Watch it. Fast forward it to 2 hours. We've been on here 2 hours 18 minutes. Go fast forward to around the 2 hours 15, whatever. And look for your mal de ojo, dude. That's just creepy. That's gonna be the picture that goes on Instagram.
All right.
Mal de ojo. Dude, it's so funny. It's creepy, dude. It's creepy. You look like somebody looking through your windows, like or to the people. Looking through the people. That's what it looks like.
That's funny.
Anyway, so. We're gonna wrap.
So I have a video on it, on how you lower your guard, and that's why a lot of people speak the truth and all that. But you're allowing spirits to take over your body. That's why a lot of people act out of character or black out, because you're allowing other spirits to take over your body. But not only that.
That's why I quit, man. That's why I quit.
You never know who you're going to allow to take over your body. Now, me being at that state where I wasn't all the way blackout drunk. But I was at that state where I was like, girl,
a whore used to overtake my body. I don't know who he was, goddammit, but he sure liked to call women when he was fucking at 3 a.m. all fucked up.
What are you doing?
Yeah, shit. It's like, I can't believe that women would take my phone call at that fucking time and me being all fucked up. I can't believe it. Like, I think back on it and I'm like, this is, obviously way before I was married, but it was like, these chicks were just, oh, good to hear from you. Yeah, I'm fucked up, man. What are you doing? Like, come over. Like I'm not coming over for a cup of coffee, damn it. So whoever was overtaking my body, I'm not gonna take the blame anymore. I'm not gonna take the blame. You know, whoever was taking my body seriously had a fucking problem.
Yeah. No, and that's it. Like I had the whole video on how spirits take over your body, so you gotta be intentional when you're drinking and gotta pay attention. And the cool part about it is once you're intentional with the things that you start doing, you can pull in energy from other people. So I had made friends with the girls over here, made friends with the girls over here. Next thing you know, security's showing up and kicking them out. So, and again, you never know who you're fucking with. So cuidado que a lo mejor ella es bruja y a lo mejor son dos brujas y una más es más chingona que la otra. So you really never know. And then we all have our ancestors. So when I talk about that shift in power with the Anglos and the people of color, like we saw that at the Super Bowl. I could tell you that right now. So we had the Super Bowl this year and everybody was like, oh, well, the underdogs. Who was supposed to win? Well, not the underdogs. But it was a shift in power. It's because the chiefs, the people of color, were meant to take the land back.
Damn, is it that? Shit, I wish I'd have known that before. I would have put some money on it.
Oh, I put money on it, and I rarely gamble. But boy, when that message came through and I got confirmation, I said, oh my gosh, I've never placed a bet in my life. Hey, Veronica, place this bet. When I know that her mom had just placed another bet the night before, and I'm like, oh.
On the Niners? She put it on the Niners? Oh.
And who are they? The gold miners who came over and took hostage the Indians, shows where the gold is at.
Yeah.
And then they took it, made it their own. So imagine they're up against the Chiefs. It's blood versus blood, red versus red.
You know what's interesting?
To the death.
You want to know something interesting? Because, you know, the Washington, they took the Redskins name out of their name. Yeah. They're the Washington Football Club just for this year until they choose a name. And I'm thinking about it. And the last time they won a Super Bowl, Mark Rippon was their quarterback. And Mark Rippon is Native American, right? And then in 87, they won a Super Bowl. In 87, I remember they won the Super Bowl. And Doug Williams was the first black Super Bowl champ. So the last two quarterbacks for the Redskins, which don't exist anymore, were two people of color, bro. That's crazy.
Makes sense.
It's crazy to think back on that. And the Chiefs now have Mahomes. I think Mahomes is like the first, well, I mean, he's light as fuck, but I mean, but he's the first black quarterback they've had. I don't think I don't remember the Chiefs ever having a black quarterback, ever. And they have the Native American name as well. That's crazy.
Taking it back to my home.
Yeah.
To my home.
Oh, she breaks everything down.
You break down things. So when you start to decode, when you start getting into decoding and breaking words down and breaking everything down, I'll break down Kamala, Kamal, whatever. Ka in Egyptian, it means spirit. Ka, ka, spirit. Mala in Spanish means bad.
Yeah.
Bad spirit. Boom. Like.
What does Harris mean? She's hairy.
Right, you know,
es peluda la cabrona.
I haven't looked up Harris, but if you think about it, so what is Trump called Joe? He calls him Sleepy Joe. So there's always going to be the two sides. Somebody who's going to wake you up and provoke you, which is Trump, and then Sleepy Joe, who's going to put you back to sleep. I'm going to tell you what you want to hear, and then go back to sleep.
Throw your ass in jail, Mom. I'm going to throw your ass in jail. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Hey, well, Aryana, thank you, man. Thank you for coming on. We got to cut this off now. It's 2 hours and 24 minutes, man.
Wow.
I mean, I could go forever, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I want to save some because I want you to come back on. Seriously. This is fucking badass. I think because we didn't even get into the, there was something else that I was going to mention to you. I'll remember later. It's that old man memory now, dude. Fucking old. But it was. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. Like you know, like people when they die, like the Jenny Rivera's death and all that, and you know all these.
Oh, I saw. Oh, that was.
I want to talk, but I want to save that.
Save that one.
I want to save that.
We're gonna save that one because
you saw that coming.
I wasn't even a fan.
You saw that coming.
I wasn't even a fan, and I saw her.
You saw it coming.
I didn't see it coming. I saw her to confirm that she was dead.
Oh shit! All right, so we'll talk about that next time. It was
creepy because I wasn't even a fan. Like, oh, it was We'll save that one.
So do me a favor and send me, you know, Aryana's information. I'll put it all, the links and everything on our page, and that way people can find you and stuff, you know, to your Twitter or your what, or I don't know if you use Twitter, but your Instagram or if you have a website, whatever, and we'll put it on there. But I want to thank you, man, for real, man. This is shit.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, Fernie. Ya sabes, thank you.
Oh yeah, when he told me, I said, bring her on. I love that shit. I love talking about this stuff. I mean, I'll be, you know, you can see right through me. I'm not a 100% believer, but I'm open-minded though. I'm open-minded. I'm not one of these. No soy cerrado. You know what I mean? I'm not one of these people like, oh no, like if you say something and then I put to, it's like fuck. I can't deny that shit. Like it's just, you know what I mean? It's like getting caught, right? Like I can't deny that shit. She saw me. God damn. Like, it's not what you think. Like, I hate when they do that in movies. It's not what you think. Shut the fuck up, dude. Just fucking throw your hands in the air, put them behind your head, and kiss your ass goodbye. No, but thank you for real. Thank you for coming on the show with us, Fernando.